Holler if you hear me, and welcome to this week's game of Michigan football. We have got the Michigan Wolverines versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We have got everything ready to go. We have got the hat right here. We've got our helmet. We have the schedule, the king-sized set of Sharpie right here to do, and we've also got the artwork of the week that we had done before. And of course, well, this happens to be one of those days where here I am competing with Eric July, who decided to spontaneously stream because of his new comic, The Horseman, selling 10,000 copies at $600,000. $600,000 net right there out of 10,000 copies. So that's what I got to compete with. And also, well, we've got this one because, well, it seems that doing these football streams with a meme thumbnail instead of one directly about the game seems to do better. Now here it's would Gophers survive Bill Murray in real life? That is the question I put up on you today. And since I did wake up earlier than usual, a lot of the last few months have been usually waking up around 11 here. It was like around 10. And my father sent me out to do some look for something at Dollar General that wasn't there. But as I was out there, it turns out somebody was moving and they had a bunch of boxes out on the curb, and I wound up coming across a big box of old Disney VHS tapes, including, all those classic clamshell VHS tapes like The Little Mermaid. This is, you can tell, fully restored special edition, which really is just an excuse to have the box cover without the mermaid sitting in the background with the erect penis back there, if you remember how that was done. Of course, always check the box, and, well, the tape seems perfectly fine, perfectly good. It's just, well, when it comes to the packaging, I mean, if I were to putting these on eBay, I would say that they were used because, well, it would be a lie if I didn't. And apparently there's also a never-before-seen music video in the back here, Part of Your World. And I remember watching The Little Mermaid was something we rented, something we didn't own, which was weird. Or maybe it was something that my mother went and took and sold or something. I would not put that past my mother. I can reach this way. Also, what some other ones we've got in the box. They range from the big Disney Renaissance stuff to the pre-Renaissance stuff like Oliver and Company. That's the one with Cheech Marin and Billy Joel. And Sleeping Beauty, the last great one of the original Disney classic era from Snow White up to here. And then it was 30 Years of Darkness until The Little Mermaid. Although some of the stuff was better than people gave it credit for at the time, like Oliver and Company, The Great Mouse Detective. Yes, they weren't as great as Snow White or whatever, but I mean, they were still entertaining. And they did get a bit of a reappraisal in the late 90s when they started re-releasing them. We've got, of course, Lady and the Tramp right there. Always a cute one there. Although anybody ever talks about it, they just talk about the bit with the spaghetti. But then again, that's why here they have that as the poster, except for whatever the original artwork was. Actually, looking at the older Disney movies, seeing what the poster art looked like is always an interesting thing to see because, well, they all came from an era of when, movie posters were still artwork. Then we've got the 60th anniversary edition of Dumbo right here. Us Weekly says a timeless classic for children of all ages, Walt Disney and his finest. I've never actually seen this one. I have to say that. I know what it is. I know there's, of course, a live-action remake with Tim Burton directing, and the only real Tim Burton-y thing about it is Eva Green being in the cast because it was Tim Burton's thing from after Dark Shadows up until Wednesday, where his squeeze that he put movies in was Eva Green. With Tim Burton as a filmmaker, it's always whoever's the piece of ass that he's got that he's always putting in stuff. In the 90s, it was that model, Lady Lisa Marie, and then he did Planet of the Apes, where he was cheating on her on set with Helena Bonham Carter, then broke up with Marie and married Carter. Then she was the female lead in all these things up until Dark Shadows, where then after that, he divorces Carter and then starts putting Eva Green as the leading lady and everything. And now it's Jenna Ortega between Wednesday and the Beetlejuice sequel. The gentleman has a pattern. Yeah, he has a pattern. And for the guy who's the kooky, lonely, artsy outsider, and now he's pumping all the ladies. You fast forward. Things about DVRing, if you pause something, they'll go back and forward and don't know where the game is going. We still have a bit of minutes right now. It's 12:05, and it's been raining and raining like hell. Who will stop the rain? Still, I wonder. because yeah, it's been overcast here. It was a little drizzly in the morning. It looks more like what you would see in like coastal Northern California or coastal New England right now. A little more. This is now where my neighborhood is starting to look more and more like Silent Hill. So it's perfect that this is the week I drew James Sunderland for the first time. And yes, I will eventually, maybe tomorrow night, you'll see I'll be bringing out the artwork of like all the other Silent Hill creatures I've done and Heather Mason, and find the one with all the Cthulhu creatures in them, from Cthulhu himself to Nyarlathotep, if I'm saying that name right. As if Eastern European last names are easier to pronounce correctly on the first try than H.P. Lovecraft monsters, but hey, that's it. And well, because this is a noon game, it's always a little too later for me to do like the thing where I would do a big community poster on Instagram, show you what my prediction for it. But today I predict Michigan 35, Minnesota 7. As Minnesota is such like a just butter soft team that they're expected that this is the big battle for the little brown jug, and that's going to be easy. Although, how cold and wet is it? It is raining and raining and raining. There's people dripping wet and wearing rain ponchos. And even on one of the camera lenses on the field, they've got the rain going as they're ready for kickoff. Big low hub. Number 19's got his hand up. And boom, up we go.
I have an order delivered.
And now, all right, running. Ooh, stopped at the 14-yard line. Hell yeah, Mark.
Screwed up my order, but I'm not tipping them anything. But I can't find a place to get there.
There we got a little Grubhub thing that we had going on in the morning as well. 2023 Walter Payton Award finalist Max Brosmer, their quarterback at Minnesota.
Alan Korlovich.
313 yards passed. Okay. Let's see what he's going to do in the first down of the game. Since this is Michigan's turf, Michigan's game, they're going to be getting the ball in the second half. What's Golden Gophers going to do right now? Okay, simple handoff. Gets a few yards, about 4 yards. And remember, it's raining so badly, of course they're going to go and try to contain the field.
Thank you.
Golden Gopher offense. Showing all this numbers, just people's numbers and what their defense is, just the basic lineup, no big stats or anything.
Yeah, I specifically put in the preferences.
What are they going to do? They're wearing all white uniforms.
Just refunded. They didn't even communicate with me. They just gave me something else.
And hype up, another handoff. And gets another few yards, down to about the 3rd and 1. Let's see what they're going to do next. Yeah. Because of the rain, there's not going to be passing probably one side or the other. And well, because Michigan basically has no real like strong quarterback between one who's there to run around and one who's there to throw interceptions, there's not going to be a lot of passes today. What's going on?
I'm fine.
3rd and 1, exactly.
I just like the good service. That's all.
Someone calling a timeout or an audible. I don't know. It looked like, oh,
no
quarterback sneak, man, first down.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah, I was just not talking as loud because of that customer service phone call right there. But yes, we've got Mark in the chat, and he says, surprised the game is on Tally TV. Heck, surprised I have power to watch the game. Well, thank God you've got the power to watch the game. Yeah, we saw last night, we were saying about, they got the power on. And well, for a claims adjuster, this has to be the Christmas season for you when it's hurricane season out there.
What is Tally TV?
I think that's for Tallahassee, I think, right?
No, I don't know.
I only know of
Fox.
I only know of Tallahassee. Well, this is, I think, a nationally broadcast game.
Fox's noon game of the week.
Well, this is the noon game of the week for Fox. So Fox big noon Saturday. That's what they've got down here. Or of course, if you've got the cable package or whatever, like we have YouTube TV, so it doesn't matter if it's locally broadcast or national. We always get to see all the games now without having to go out. Like when we're living in DC or living in Orlando, we would have to go out to like some bar or whatever to see like most of the games except for the Ohio State game, whatever the bowl game would be that year.
Brief time we were in Tampa.
Yeah.
Literally, we'd be underwater right now in the same place.
I remember that. Oh, hey, they actually threw a pass and dropped it. Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah, that we were in Tampa. There, it was during that Michigan season, 2010 in the fall, and there was the one big super. Yeah, it was a really big fancy mall in Tampa that had a big bar. You could go to see the games there. How fancy was the place? The mall had a Mont Blanc store. You know, the big fancy pants fountain pen company. Yeah.
Martini Lounge.
I have YouTube TV as well, but it syncs to local. Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
this is local. Technically, it's Fox 2 Detroit.
That's why we also have the Big Ten Network, and we have the basic YouTube TV package, but we also have the Big Ten Network on that basic package, so we can, whatever Michigan's going to be, we don't have to go out.
And the fatty's down. Lost yardage. All right.
And well, another attempt at the pass, and it's gone. Mark, now that you're here, yeah, I went out before the game to Dollar. My father sent me out to Dollar General and came back with a box of old Disney VHSs. Somebody was moving out and left these VHS tapes on the curb. I've got a bunch in there, and they range from like the classic 30s, 40s stuff to more of the Disney Renaissance from the 90s, including The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or The Great Mouse Detective right here. That's one of those I never saw. Although it was one of those like pre-Little Mermaid 80s Disney ones that they then re-released in the 90s and got a better evaluation because of that's now, like their stuff just before they really exploded. Now more people are paying attention to those things because now, it's when, the whole Mouse House was, back on top again. There's, of course, guys in the crowd who have body paint on. There's this like Asian looking dude who's got all blue body paint, but the paint's running off in the rain. This is now between the weather now actually being down to more like actual fall and the rain out there. Now this is the right weather to be wearing a hat like this.
This is the first time we've got that weather all season.
Although, of course, with this, it also means all the around here that needs to be trimmed is even longer. No.
November. Play the Hairless Nuts, that's it.
I've only looked at the top surface of these tapes, but I bet there's probably a lot more dug in there. The only one that I've seen in here that is not like kids movie related is this. If we get Weatherman in the chat, I'll just as a gag, as a rip, I'll go and bring this out again. But yeah, there it is. I think I remember also when these came, each tape had its own individual box in the slipcase. But here, well, the fact that it even comes in the box anyway is a miracle in and of itself. Because there's one tape I did see in here when I was carrying the box home. It's a tape of Snow White, but there's no box. Either that or the box is like somewhere deeper in here.
You didn't go to Dollar General and you just saw the box and didn't want to go back.
And I already showed Sleeping Beauty. Mark says, I still haven't seen Titanic. So then you're one of like the 5 people since the 90s in the first world that hasn't at least seen parts of it. Or at least maybe, for men, the parts of it, including Kate Winslet's immaculate naked body in the 90s and developing an intense jealousy of her sons because, or at the very least, jealousy of that one actor, Christopher Eccleston, who before Titanic, she also was doing nude scenes and he got to put his mouth on them, even though he's supposed to be her cousin in that movie. But okay. Then again, remember, for when people joke about the first cousins marrying and all that in the royal family, it's not always necessarily just the royal family where it's first cousins marrying and things like that. We'll talk about when it comes to inbreeding or whatever, just look at the UK in general. A lot of the people you see in those more blue-collar, more working-class parts of the UK, it ain't just the bad health or whatever, or the bad diet and dentistry that leads to people looking like that. A lot of it has to do with, it wasn't just the royals that were marrying first cousins.
I missed the commercials in the first 3.5 minutes of the game.
I've got a lady referee here, and I just hope she's able to always look brace for impact or is quick on her feet, because one of these giant college players, even college players still, bad things happen. There have been refs who've been injured. Okay. Is that a fumble? Did he just fumble?
He fumbled. They got the ball.
First time Michigan had the ball, they tried to throw a pass, and bam. Incomplete pass. The play was called dead before the ball got knocked out.
Who's he trying to pick out? Oh, look.
Actually,
everybody, the media says all you do is run, so you want to pass.
I was saying the lady referee, and yeah, it was the lady referee who picked up the ball, but referees do get injured sometimes, so you got to always with them. All right, now they're running with the ball and get like a yard.
Now you got third in the mile because you done a stupid play.
3rd and 9, which with what I said before when Minnesota had the ball, that this is a perfect kind of rainy season for having Alex Orji as a quarterback who just runs around like Michael Vick or Fred Tarkington. Well, they decided to go and pass like idiots.
It wasn't the pass was bad. The guy was just creamed him. But now you're in 3rd and 9 and you gotta pass. In the fucking rain. Stupid shit.
Big. He's running. Orji goes after the big pass. No, and he runs for the first down, Michael Vick style.
Back to tackle him, hit the ground. He's still standing.
Now, with the Michael Vick analogy, I'm hoping he doesn't wind up with, having an interesting affinity for dogs.
He's from Texas.
And Michael Vick was from Georgia, so.
He's from Sassy, Texas. No, it's Sassy. It doesn't spell that way, but it's pronounced Sassy.
Well,
See, the other quarterback we have would have got stopped.
It's Texas. There are a lot of sassy people there. There should be. That's why be careful if you displease a rancher's daughter in Texas, because they won't just come after you. They'll chase you down on horseback with a big calf rope.
Donovan Edwards, 3 yards.
Like Jessica Alba in Sin City on horseback, but with actual working 6-shooters. Get back here. Give me that dick.
Look at that. First downs. Number 1 in the nation, JJ. 29 last year. Quarterback from Texas, 26.
All right, now let's see. McCarthy, 29, 28. Dylan Garbell. Okay, let's see. 2nd and 5. What they're going to do? What they're going to do?
Okay, you got 3.
Air runs for like a yard or so.
You can see how hard it's raining. It looks like they're in fog.
Yes, it really does. Like not just in here, all the way over in Ann Arbor, it looks like Silent
It's
Hill.
not even raining outside.
That's why I remember with the earlier Silent Hill games, where they didn't specify what state it was in. It looked like somewhere in New England, or maybe even somewhere around here around the Great Lakes. Like Toluca Lake is just one of the lost Great Lakes nobody talks about.
Complete.
Oh, got it.
He completed a pass.
Completed
Colston
pass.
Loveland's back.
First down, Colston Loveland got the catch. So first down, Michigan. Now they're just about to cross the 50-yard line.
Nice pass. I mean, Harbaugh didn't recruit him just because he could run. Believe me. He recruited him for a reason.
One guy, I think this is one of those times where if you bring a hat, you should not have the hat backwards. Or get one of those large, like one of those large gardening hats, the kind I would need to wear when mowing the lawn, things like that.
What is this? All this passing shit?
Oh, he's running. Oh,
there's
yeah.
a face mask.
No
That's
penalty.
a face
Oh,
mask.
there it
Yeah,
is. Hell yeah.
It took his head and flipped it back.
Orji got yanked down to the damn grass by his fucking head. You better face mask call that. You better.
He ain't going down like that unless somebody fucking ripping off his head. Look at that. Oh my God. He got all for his 15 yards, and Orji got his leg bent underneath him. You usually give an ejection for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, except for when a 300-pound lineman hits you like that. Watch this. When he cranks his head, but watch Orji's leg. Watch Orji's leg. Look at this. It's bent. Watch.
Oh Jesus,
bent
that's
and then flipped.
not like Joe Theismann, still bad.
And you better have a fucking neck muscles, or you're gonna be a goddamn cripple. But they'll take the 15-yard penalty just to rough him up.
They want us to go and screw with the Top Gun.
Nothing.
Oh, he's able to break it,
Nothing.
and
That's
gets
the line
for
of
like
scrimmage.
back to the line of scrimmage, I think.
Well, you know, there's 4 white shirts. There's a blue shirt there blocking. Because they look like they're playing in front of a screen.
Yeah, or like a Playboy in the
Well,
70s.
that's sort of clear. But when they have
Like-
that side shot,
Like in the 70s, where all Playboy was photographed with like the soft focus that looked like it was all shot through a screen door with Vaseline on it. Or I told you I rewatched Carrie on Tubi, the opening of Carrie, where it's all the naked chicks in the locker room shower. That's all soft focus like that. That's what it looks like.
come on. That's the hopping Jew, Klein.
Mr. Klein, the Austrian, right?
He's from Germany.
Oh, the German, yeah, the German Jew, Klein, number 17. His mother's on the phone, complaining in German that she doesn't have grandchildren. I'm in the middle of the game. Marjorie at the salon was telling me about her that she just had a 4th grandchild.
She speaks German. She doesn't speak New York English. 3rd and 1, you can get a first down.
What is it doing for Marjorie? If you're not going to do it for your mama, do it for Marjorie, okay? Who is it? Who is it?
Touchdown.
And touchdown, Michigan. Khalil Mullings with the first touchdown of the game. And hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West.
They all come down. That's what the guys were really there.
It's like everybody knows the big guns are Mullings and Orgy, and they won't go down the field anyway.
Start jogging on the 5-yard line. It was a bad day for kicking. The ball was all sloppy. You missed it? No, you got it. That stupid screen blocked it. You could see if it went through. Well, I mean, he starts slowing down at the 10. The Asian girl likes it. You know how great Podium is so big?
Right.
It makes you smarter.
We've got that another one of those insurance commercials where it's all the other actors from The Office that aren't Steve Carell as well. Where their career's gone, they're not like Steve Carell can talk about, oh, I wouldn't have done The Office these days. You're so fucking much of a pussy that a white bread as all hell show like The Office is offending you. It's I mentioned last night about Seinfeld, about Friends, people making jokes about Seinfeld being so white. That's not even that's now getting people like they're saying Seinfeld's so offensive. I remember even Jennifer Aniston was brought that up, and she was even saying, if Friends was offending you so much, then you really need to get a life. One of the most white, if the show was any more white bread, it would have just been a Wonder Bread and mayonnaise sandwich in TV form. Friends. Or as Mark says about Mullings and Orgy getting the ball the whole time, they know what's coming, but they can't do anything about it. Exactly. And so sit down and enjoy a nice brisket, since unlike with Columbia and Yale these days, Jews and Asian people are allowed to go to Michigan and enjoy the nice brisket burrito bowl from Chipotle. Knowing Ann Arbor, there's a Chipotle somewhere in town. It's there. You just have to go Google Maps it.
There's multiple. 8-1.
We're showing, it was Emmett Smith in an ad. Not Emmett Smith doing one of those, the ads of all the 90s players coming back. It was something else with Emmett Smith.
Small town.
Well, my father just looked it up. Chipotle has 3. There are 3 Chipotles in Ann Arbor. Or as Mark says, Moe's is better, and they don't give you food poisoning like Chipotle. Well,
there's actually more. There's 4.
I've never had food poisoning from Chipotle, anyone I've been to, but I've also never been to Moe's, even when we did go to Ann Arbor for that one Washington Michigan game in 2002. Still, I don't remember. I remember there was the hotel we stayed at that had the complimentary breakfast. That's now the hotel that always advertises during these games last couple seasons. And the next big thing is at 3:30 is Colorado. And yeah, they're cutting back. They're showing some old-timey photographs of Michigan and Minnesota, the rivalry over the brown jug. And the famous story of like the 1900s where the way that water supplies for college football teams was done was that literally you would go out and you'd have the jug, you would have a water jug with you. And Michigan they came to Minnesota, beat Minnesota. They had the water jug there, but then left it by accident. And they asked to, return the jug to Ann Arbor, and Minnesota got all uppity and said, "Oh no, you want your jug back? You have to win it back." And that started the tradition of any time Minnesota and Michigan play, the trophy is this jug with every season they played with all the names on it. Although now, because of the divisions, now Michigan and Minnesota don't play every season. So now it's like real for keepers of, okay, you win it, that means you're going to keep it in that city for another 2 or 3 years. Oh, click them at the 20. Does Ann Arbor still have BD's Mongolian barbecue? I wouldn't know. That was even probably like after my father's time, but you could. That's another thing to Google Maps.
Barbecue in the 60s and 70s.
All right. BD's Mongolian barbecue Ann Arbor. Let's maps. Where's Google Maps? There it goes.
I mean, downtown Ann Arbor, the restaurants are high end and always changing.
Sort of like LA, the Hollywood Boulevard parts of LA.
On Main Street, downtown Ann Arbor, it's like 5-star. It's like expensive as hell.
BD's. There's BD's Mongolian Grill that's showing up. Let's see. Ford Road in Canton, Hall Road in Sterling Heights, and Miller Road in Flint, but no Ann Arbor. So I'm guessing it's not there.
Canton's sort of close, but it's not.
There's 3. There's one that's 12 miles away, 28, and 55. It's like when I Google Maps if Rainforest Cafe was still around, and the closest one is in Auburn Hills. They're still open, but yeah. If anybody else remembers the Rainforest Cafe as fondly as me.
To get back to me. Are you going to eat that?
Yeah, yes. I'm trying to think of another one. I mentioned, Sizzler. Sizzler's still around. It's just that there aren't that many. There were ones here that were closed, that closed down since then. And Medieval Times. I think there's still Medieval Times. See locations. Yeah, I remember there's one in. The closest one is in Schaumburg, Illinois. Okay, well. Oh, there's also one in Toronto, so.
I think Schaumburg is closer.
Yeah, Schaumburg is close. That's why it's the first result. Although the second result is in New Jersey for some reason.
New Jersey's further away than Toronto.
Which is strange that they would have it listed in that order of locations then. So I used to love BD's, drive to Flint to eat there when I lived in Saginaw. Okay. And we've got RJ McCready in the chat.
Ask him. How many days it took him to hitchhike from Saginaw?
How many days did it take you to hitchhike from Saginaw?
It was as long as Paul Simon. There you go. New commercial.
And now they've got a new ad for U of M showing a guy wafting through waters.
Well, they added the Michigan Triangle to the ad.
So investigating the Lake Michigan Triangle.
That's the Ford refurbished it.
And let's see. RJ, we don't even need reasons to fuck them. Okay, RJ, but hello there. And Mark says, really miss Fuddruckers burgers too. I think they're all closed now.
Fuddruckers was on that closed restaurant thing I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, Fuddruckers, they went defunct. I never went to a Fuddruckers, so I wouldn't know one way or another.
I took your sister and brother there before.
Like Jack in the Box is one. Like Jack in the Box, saw those advertised all the time in LA and all that. Never ever ate at one. To see them and be like when one of my father's friends, we go to his place. He had a PlayStation. He had different games like Tomb Raider and Cool Borders, and you would drive by Jack in the Boxes, but we never went to one.
Now, this is a good game to have.
It was like the
Look at this idiot.
there's a guy in the stands who's wearing a giant Michigan Super Bowl ring headdress.
National championship ring.
It was that. It's like it was like when we went to the McDonald's to get the Power Rangers movie Happy Meal toys, and then I think he just like gave away the Happy Meal to like someone on the street. He'd get the toys, but wouldn't let any of us eat that crap.
When you ask them, they won't just sell you them. They have to put the food in the bag.
Oh, he's going to run for it, but he has nowhere near the speed or agility of Michael Vick or Frank Tarkington.
This turf is like a hockey rink.
Oh, RJ, he was referring to the Gophers. Yeah, the Gopher meme. That really, yeah, we don't even need reasons to kill them. Well, yeah, RJ, I understand that. And Gophers. Yeah, that's maybe my Uncle Bill would have liked that. I've mentioned before my notorious Uncle Bill and the special magazines my sister found in his bedroom, which actually was the time we were visiting there when it was Michigan versus Ohio State '95. When big bad unbeaten Ohio State that was going to be the national championship game wound up getting crushed by Michigan, who had 3 losses to their name that season. And while my sister was bored and looking for things to do because football's stupid, she found magazines in my uncle's bedroom that shows that his favorite XXX film is Freddy Got Fingered.
It wouldn't have mattered if it was a football game on or not. She just gets into everybody's shit.
Yeah, my sister and people's
no boundaries.
My sister in privacy, yeah, that's a thing. Like one time, I'll tell you, I was masturbating in the living room, and she wound up calling the house, but my mother wound up picking up and started yelling about. She says you're naked doing weird shit, and apparently my sister was like saying, "No, don't answer the phone." I wanted to scare him and startle him on the answering machine.
He went to get a pick 6 and missed the ball. That's what happens.
I've noticed it seems to do better with these football streams of having a non-directly football-related meme with the thumbnail between the thing with Matthew during the Texas game or last week with Hugh Jackman, actually in Wolverine costume or so. Well, it's not Michigan doesn't play Minnesota every year, so now you really got to make it precious, and the Gophers won. Usually Minnesota and Michigan is not really a competitive game. There's one time I remember in my lifetime where it was really, really interesting and competitive, and that was 2003, where Minnesota was winning by 4 touchdowns most of the game, and it wasn't until like the last quarter Michigan was able to fight all the way back and win it with like around the 2-minute warning. That was when Minnesota was still playing in the same dome with the Minnesota Vikings and also the Minnesota Twins. Remember that was early 2000s where, the Vikings and Minnesota football and the Twins all share. That's why when the Twins in the early 90s were in the World Series, they had the warning track that had like the glass boards above the warning track in the outfield. Like those glass boards they have for hockey. Strange, but not the strangest thing you'll see about the MLB in the 90s. And got 2 yards, Minnesota.
This is their Super Bowl. We have a letdown after last week and going to Washington next week.
Well, Mark says that Gophers are moving the ball surprisingly well.
They're not a bad team. Don't look at records. I watched them play. They're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. You think we're psyched up as we were last week for USC? No.
No. And also next week is the big rematch with defending national champion Michigan against the team they beat, Fort Washington. So that Jeremy Griggs is going to be very, very excited to see Washington win on account of them beating his precious Alabama.
Intercepted? No.
Oh, no, it's not an interception. It can't be.
It's
just incomplete pass.
Ask Washington what happens when you don't think of the game you're playing. You lose to Rutgers.
Yes.
They're thinking of
when you don't
Michigan.
When you don't keep your eye on the prize and focus on the team you're playing, you wind up losing by a field goal to the Tony Soprano University.
Washington isn't in this game. Oh, he almost had the interception. That's why you're not an offense playing wide receiver.
Guys, see people in the crowd now wearing Big Bird headdress.
There you go.
Oh, stuff them for a yard. Now you got a field goal. Oh, no, punt. It's way too. It's like
you're inside the 50 nowadays. You go for a field goal.
Yeah. That's a field goal this time. Although between the rain and whatever angle they'd get, I wonder if it'd be another missed field, if they'll miss it.
You know what happens if you fake it? Guys give a 30-yard, 40-yard gain. 4th and 11. What are you doing? You gonna go for it? I'm not going to go for field goal. They're going to fucking go for it.
Okay, they're going for it. 4th and 11. All right, let's see if this risk pays off.
They're playing with fucking house money. They've got nothing to lose.
Oh, this is Minnesota. All right, they're already 2-2. This is them playing for keeps. This is the biggest game they're going to have all season, so they're going to fight like it's Michigan and Ohio State. Oh, they called a timeout. Minnesota calls a timeout, so maybe they're second guessing. Maybe they're second guessing themselves. I don't know.
Dumbass wasted with timeout. Absolutely asinine. Just wasted a timeout in the beginning of the first half.
Well, more excuses for commercials because Michigan games go by like lightning round to the point where
Absolutely.
the post game is longer than any other post game you'll see because just how much running eats at the clock, which means less commercials.
Because our commercials don't look like typical college commercials.
That's Pacific Life. That's
Yeah.
every college football game has Pacific Life ads.
Well, some do, but all of ours do. You see them a lot because you watch Michigan games.
As long as I've been watching college football, you always see Prudential Insurance and Pacific Life.
And she looked like she'd go to school here, not in Alabama.
That was that iPhone ad with the new iPhone feature where it can help people remember. Siri can help you with memories. It seems like every phone company is offering the thing where you can either upgrade or change your company, and we'll give you this iPhone 16.
Well, the first 30 timed minutes didn't start till like 10 after, but in 26 minutes, there have been 4 times the commercial time than there is the play time.
All right, but we do love a challenge.
I feel like we passed more in this game than we passed all last week.
In the rain. Yes. That's what's the Pack Life commercial always reminds me of Star Trek. Well, yeah, the humpback whale, Star Trek 4, yeah.
Is he happy or just kidding?
If only Shatner and Nimoy with the stolen bird of prey would sweep down under the Golden Gate Bridge like that with the whales.
Do this commercial one time and have the South Park guys since they love each other. The kids.
That'd be too obvious. And also, they're so middle-aged and flabby, it would just be gross.
When were they ever in shape? They're just scrawny guys.
I don't know, when they're in basketball and they're naked, and Matt Stone looks like, actually like slim but like toned. The other one has like cellulite.
What in that movie would be a giveaway that they're gay?
A grown man with cellulite like Trey Parker, while
the hot tub.
And Matt Stone's all oiled up.
What happened in the hot tub?
That's one of them was in the hot tub with a playmate. Yes.
Playmate of the year, and they were more interested in each other.
And it was there. Apparently, that was there. They improvised making out in that scene.
Yeah, they improvised.
Or the wood rocket where they asked Val Filmstar, what's the sexiest mainstream movie? And a lady responded that when she sees them make out in basketball, she creams her panties every time.
There you go. Last time they had the jug, 2014. I tell you, they're playing their ass off. We may be ahead, but to us, we're supposed to win. To them, it's like
there's a guy wearing a little scarf and a short sleeve shirt right now.
Yeah, nothing gets you like rain coming down. You're wearing a scarf, a wet scarf.
And there's other people who've got those rain ponchos.
This looks terrible. It doesn't look like this game's in London.
Whenever you see those NFL games in London, yeah, you see that crap, and you see how well. No wonder they always have those NFL games in indoor arenas.
He's going for a big banana.
Oh, they decided no, they're going to go and kick it. All right, well, how well does this work or not? We will see.
55 yards. 55 yards is very possible nowadays.
All right.
Nobody
where he's going.
Now it's relatively common.
Oh, the kick is on its way.
That's good. Where'd it go? Can't see it. Is it good or no good?
No good.
You can't really tell.
It was hard to tell. The ball so tiny with the fog.
The fog and the darkness of the ball.
The fog, the ball, and the angle. Oh no, wide right.
Long enough. Look, way
so
long.
Well,
long
this man just did a Scott Norwood impersonation.
He would have made a 65-yarder. It went 10 yards in the air.
Wide right, and the Giants win the Super Bowl. Because out of all the times the Giants win the Super Bowl, only once they actually really win fair and square, as opposed to something that might have proved divine intervention, or just that the other team choked.
Stop with the damn pass. You don't have to prove nothing.
All right, now Edwards has the ball. He got a few yards.
I know Sherman Moore doesn't like his quarterback being told he can't pass. So what does he do? He comes out and passes. Last week he completed 4. First drive.
Third down conversions, 3 of 3. Okay. What are they going to do?
Mainly because of Orgy, not because of anybody else.
The ball. Oh, damn. Slipped. Damn. Nope. Got a punt.
No, not third down.
Oh, wait. No, it's third down. I'm 3rd and 4. Okay.
I don't know why you got Mullings out of the game. Go back in the fucking game. Keep him in the game. And when you want to run up the middle, you don't want to run with Edwards. Edwards goes down on contact.
There's that. The sky cam is all wet.
What happens every time you see him in the open? Nobody catches him. That's his scouting report. Now what? Timeout. What do you do?
And now Michigan just got a touch timeout.
Timeout in the first quarter. That don't happen very
Jeez,
often.
there's one. There's only 51 seconds left in the first quarter, and the kickoff was like, what, 12:10?
Yeah.
So it's only been like half an hour and already there's a quarter past. In case you're wondering why timeouts or injury timeouts are things that the broadcasters actually like with Michigan games, well, it gives them some time to get those commercials in that they wouldn't be able that have been able to get in because of running so much. If it were teams, where it's two teams passing and it's scoring and scoring back and forth, that's what they want. That's why they love the SEC so much. All right, and well, because it's new, we probably won't be seeing Nick in the stream right now because he's this is usually when he's sleeping, so he'll be getting the game on DVR.
Did it come back?
Yep, they're back. All right, the 3rd, 4th. Oh, no, he didn't get it. They tried a trick and it didn't work.
4th and 1. God damn it, go for it. Fuck it. I didn't see the play. I just saw him fall down.
Well, it got to the 1, but no, 4th and 1. They should just punt. Going for it, that'll just be stupid.
Oh, they faked it and gave it to Orgy. I don't know. 4th and 2. I'd fucking go for it. Fuck this shit. And we're fun. We're going to play conservative now. Not going to be stupid. It's a great place on the field to pick a kick. This guy who doesn't do any run-up, does it? He's a hell of a punter. Well, that was fucked. End of the first quarter.
And well,
More commercials.
End of the first quarter now, about half hour of the game, actual half hour of play for the first quarter to be completed. 7-0, Michigan is up. And you know who was feeling fine during all of this?
They almost covered the point spread in the first quarter.
Our friend Eva from Metal Gear Solid 3 right here. Yes, she'd be fun to meet. I'm guessing so. Depending on what you're doing.
It's raining here now.
And now it's starting to rain. Got a little bit of a... See, I just got an email from Mark right there. That's right. Yeah, because of the whole thing with Culture Casino and trying to do the Carson show style humor he's doing.
You got drizzle. They got monsoon rain.
It's drizzly out there, but
And Nick's all wet.
would she be fun?
Why does her knees look deformed?
She's in tights, but also they're not. It's not going to be skin tight. So.
I'm used to seeing chicks with quads. Not
There we go. There, as we've got our first KFC ad of the game, and remember, yeah, KFC. Well, I agree with that one for Deion Sanders being the spokesman for, because clearly he's endorsing a product that he does use.
okay. Get ready for this picture. It might frighten you. Look at them.
And there's that. Fox keeps advertising this thing that looks like Baywatch, but if it's taking itself seriously, which
No,
is
it came out. It had like huge ratings in the first episode.
that's really what it looks like. Like, okay, so basically you want us to look at Baywatch Hawaii even, because it's set in Hawaii, but act like it's a straightforward thing. As now they're showing the Big Ten ad.
Chicago.
And again, whatever network show, I mean, the networks now, those areas of America where they don't have good Wi-Fi, so they can't stream things. Their Netflix is hard to get to their things. That's where you get like the people really watch the network still. Or same thing with that last Blockbuster and where that area is. And well, here's the licensing for these areas where they'll still have a video store place to be viable.
You ever see the parody Indiana Jones and the Temple of Food?
No.
Guess who played Indiana Jones?
What, Peter North?
No, he played football, Western Michigan. Blonde.
Oh, and Evan Stone?
Yeah.
Now they're showing at a Fox News ad. Now there's Tom Brady. They're still hyping it up. Like they're still showing the ad of like building to him debuting, doing Fox NFL commentary. They're still showing this ad that was building to him making his appearance. Okay, got the refund there.
And you got the free ones.
And there's it's Tom Brady. He's like in his mansion. He's got himself as a child, himself from quarterback from Michigan, himself from Patriots, himself with the.
They have pictures of Brady as a kid in that actual uniform.
Christopher is asking RJ if he's ready to rewatch The Thing. He says, I am. It's tough reliving it. Well, yeah. Should try when you're living in the winter then. So if you're living out here, and it actually snows heavy, then you get to see that or that ice station zebra kind of stuff all the time. But we all know this to be true already. Although, unlike him, I don't have Jimmy Bean or Jim Bean or J&B, whatever it's called. That's for Kurt Russell with his fabulous hair as a tough helicopter pilot in The Thing, where his hair is feathered. Actually, the tougher that Kurt Russell's character is supposed to be, the more fabulous he makes his hair.
And if you could have seen behind the scenes at World Gym when he was playing those tough guys,
and
everybody made fun of him and harassed him.
And also the same time there, Escape from New York, where he also had his hair all feathered perfectly because that's just how beautiful he is.
Fucking face, man. Fuck you, he's stopping for a loss. No fucking face mask.
If I can find like just the right photo to show. There's the hair being fabulous.
Who is that?
That's Kurt Russell in The Thing. His hair's all fabulous.
I saw him at the gym all the time. He looked like that.
That's
street hair, West Hollywood streetwalker.
Look at how fabulous his hair is. And hello to Weatherman. Weatherman in the chat. That's nice. I'm guessing that Culture Casino's stream let out. And let's see more people coming in there. That's that. You know what I have to say about those channels where, not necessarily Culture, but other kind of channels where they stream all hours of the day, like, Geeks and Gamers or whatever, where they expect, they whistle, you're supposed to come running and stream. They'll have like Geeks and Gamers that has like 17 different channels and are pretty much streaming almost always 24 hours a day, and always have people that are there and throwing their money at them like it's the PTL club.
It's called People Have No Life Network. I wouldn't watch Hot and Icelandic CrossFit girls 24 hours.
And Weatherman does say yes, Culture. Yeah, you got let out of Culture Casino stream. All right. So here we are right here. If, that means Jill Powers will be coming in like usual, since, well, these noon games is at the time when her husband allows her to watch. So we'll hope she comes in. Well, that's what she said. My husband doesn't really like me being on streams after 3. I didn't know Jill was Muslim, but apparently, yes, her husband doesn't want her on streams after 3.
Well, there's a newer guy. He's holding his back. You heard his back? Oh, nice block.
What's going on?
Nice. He blocked the pass.
Oh, yeah, block that pass popping up.
Nobody can intercept it. That's the problem. There you go.
No, the Mark.
Kids are so lazy, they don't even shake the key. Nobody has keys anymore. See, back in the day, everybody did keys on third down.
Well, if it's in college dorm rooms, I think now it probably they've advanced it. Now it's just like a little card, like hotel. No, I mean with like in their dorm room, or whatever, they'd have like a card key, like
Nobody
a hotel.
has keys. That proof positive. They still do the sign.
I've never been in a hotel room where it wasn't one of those digital card keys to open your door instead of like a regular key.
Bitch.
Hello to Mark Nichols coming into the chat, and Jay Pedrig also comes in, and well, he knows what I was saying about when people say about audience capture, it's really more often than not, it's the audience that's captured by the creator, like Geeks and Gamers, who are just always on and always have the people that are watching them on any channel and always firing at them. And Jay knows what I'm talking about. It says it seems to always be the same people throwing the big super chats at Geeks and Gamers or CobraCast. Exactly. If it's the Geeks and Gamers Play channel, if it's Geeks and Gamers Shower channel, if it's Geeks and Gamers Cooking. It's the Geeks and Gamers Beardo can't read, but let's reward him with money channel.
So they have freaks and shamers. Hey, he interfered with them catching the punt. You can't stop the ball from coming down.
Let's see. So nice to see Mark back in here. And we can all thank the big, celebration 4,000 sub stream I did Thursday. And last night's stream, the last 2 nights, the streams were having the return of Vixen to the channel, gifting all kinds of memberships. So the big goal I have of if my channel were to reach 100 members, that would unlock me doing a weekly members only movie watch along stream. Well, now the count between those 10 that were there on Thursday and the 21, so I mean just another 43 channel members, and we would then wind up unlocking that. And Mark also congratulates me on 4K subs. I thank you for that right there. I'd like to thank the Culture Casino channel for getting past that to 4,000. Now, the ultimate goal of trying to get to 10,000. That's my big past 1,000 last year, and now the next big goal is trying to get to 10,000. But let's see if we can actually do it of just get to 5,000 within 3 months, like everybody on the Thursday night stream was voting for. And remember, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, I'm surviving or thriving because of your direct support. I don't have sponsorships. I don't have any corporate backing. I'm not walking in here from some other field where people already knew me. It's all my own audience it's cultivating. So it's all because of your direct support that I get anything. So that's why your memberships you get for yourselves that you gift, or you super chat or whatever, or you go into the link to my art store right there and you either pick up what artwork is there, or you want a commission, or just a simple donation. Because remember, for those who want to go and show your support without giving the Google Goliath that 30%, that's what the art store is for. Like what Max Relax was saying the other day when he was talking about, is there a ways to support you without the 30% going to someone else? Well, there it is. And we've got Jill right here. And Jill, IMHO, if Bill Murray could survive Chevy Chase during his popularity, he would beat the Gopher. Yes. Famously, Chevy Chase, he quit the show after the first season. He came back as a host, and they replaced him with Bill Murray, and supposedly there were fists being thrown between them on the set because of Chase being a jackass.
Gophers hide nuts in their mouth. Will Bill Murray hide his?
I don't know. No.
His pockmarks. Maybe,
or and that was like I think 9 years ago when Red Letter Media did their review of Ghostbusters, and they joked about like how I think it was the one Bill Murray looks the Crypt Keeper these days. Everyone else is so out of shape or pathetic. Then Ernie Hudson, who's living proof that black don't crack. He's in better shape now than he was, I think, in the original Ghostbusters back then.
There's the Big Ten blood drive.
And there's a Big Ten blood drive happening. They just showed right that. That's nice. The truck. And well, let's see. Yes, everybody's saying nice too. We've got Mark Nichols and Mark Daly. We've got the Mark Club right here in our chat. So big pass. Oh, the first complete pass that Michigan's done this game, and first down.
First down to Loveland in the first quarter.
Mark, yeah, he says, I think Chase is ridiculously hard to get along with. Yes. Even to those Saturday Night Live cast members he didn't get into fist fights with. If he worked with them later on, he would be an ass to them, like Dan Aykroyd.
Did your board fans like it?
And Dan Aykroyd's just a weirdo about ghosts and UFOs. He's not a dickhead or anything.
No, he likes the seconds.
Well, Chase is just, you wish, well, Dan Aykroyd's so fat these days, you wish someone would get a crane and drop it to Aykroyd on Chevy Chase's face and suffocate him.
Well, my sloppy seconds is smart enough to divorce him.
He'll be okay with it. Just distract him with like a Bud Hopkins encyclopedia or something on Lost Time. That'll distract him. He's probably already read it 17 times already, but give him Bud Hopkins time slip, and he'll as a distraction and drop him on Chevy Chase's face, like a piano on an old cartoon character. And well, also on my way up to Dollar General, my father sent me out there. I came across a family that was moving, and they left a bunch of crap on the curb, including a nice big box
First down, you dropped the ball.
of old-time Disney
First down,
tapes.
you dropped the fucking ball.
60th anniversary of Dumbo right here.
Oh boy, it's Bell's younger brother. Oh, he's hurt. He's fucking hurt. Bell's brother's hurt. Bell's brother's hurt.
We've got the Great Mouse Detective. So even the mid-'80s stuff that wasn't really great, but still better than the Black Cauldron is represented in here. We've got, what else is here? We got Sleeping Beauty. So even the old-time classics right there.
That ain't good.
Mark asks, are Donna Dixon and Dan Aykroyd still married? No, they're legally separated. They separated like a few years back. I saw Dan Aykroyd on the Joe Rogan Experience talk about this. Oh yeah, she had enough of me. I remember Oliver and Company, the one with Billy Joel and Cheech Marin. That thing says Disney like Cheech Marin, but he also was in The Lion King. So
she had to stay around so long. Ironclad prenup.
And we've got this Little Mermaid from the Masterpiece Collection. Yeah, this is not the one. Of course, everybody remembers is the one with the city in the background where it looks like it's got an erect penis back there. A lot of people always made the jokes about for years on end. Or the Mommy calls him a little souvenir Disney Cruise Line ad from the 2000s. What's the and well, we've got Bambi. 55th anniversary of Bambi right there. Feels like it's got some dust or something on it, but I can just wipe that off. And they got a quote on the back from Roger Ebert calling it a perennial classic. Then again, Roger Ebert also loved The Happening, so his taste in movies could be very, very much something that you probably shouldn't take too seriously.
He actually found a way to ruin a movie with big tits.
Or Lady and the Tramp.
Who's that? Another story? She met the queen?
No, because, I mean, it may be a cartoon dog, but that cartoon dog still got it going on.
Your mother's a tramp.
Well, my mother's a tramp, but also at different points, like watching Carrie recently, I just look at Sissy Spacek and all I see is my mother. Yeah, Weatherman clarifies, yes, they're technically still married. They're just legally separated, probably because, yeah, whatever, when they married, this was when he was at his height with Ghostbusters and all of that. So he wasn't stupid. He got himself a prenup involved. So they're just legally separated. He can go back to running his, Crystal Skull vodka and collecting checks from the newer Ghostbusters movies or whatever stuff that House of Blues, I think, is still going. He owns that thing and whatever, UFO, paranormal, ghost stuff he's always talking about because he believes in all that. He even did a documentary about his own UFO encounter. That's very, Whitley Strieber if he were really fat and Canadian. But as we know, fat, thin, whatever, women can't control themselves around men from Saskatchewan. You want to drive a woman wild with unquenchable lust, show them a picture of either Aykroyd at any point in his life or Rowdy Roddy Piper. Jay brings up, you got to have the original erect penis in the background, Little Mermaid VHS. Well, this one, it was one of those reissues from the 90s where, of course, so many people made the joke about that. They removed it. It's like the Rescuers from the 70s where the shot where in the background there's a topless woman in the window that Disney decades later wound up censoring. Long before they were censoring their older movies like a Splash where they extended the hair to cover up Daryl Hannah's butt, they did that with the topless lady back there. Or also don't forget about the priest in the wedding scene in Little Mermaid where the priest has a boner in his robes. Or also, speaking of men from Saskatchewan, women cannot control themselves around, the all-time great of the Red Wings, Gordie Howe. Even though both him and Roddy Piper have been dead for several years, still women they need it. Especially with Piper because he always wore that kilt, so it's easier access to his junk.
I realized 6 days after we got here, he died.
Yes, Jill, yes, indeed. If you remember the priest from the ending of The Little Mermaid where it looks like he's got a boner. And I think Disney said, oh, it's just that he's bending his knee under the robe, and that's what the animation is supposed to be. Really? Really?
Did he have good teeth? Good hair? Did he have a nice plate in his head?
Yes. It's like when, like Death Wish, where...
There he is at 50.
Like in Death Wish, where, yeah, Charles Bronson is already in his mid-50s when he did the first Death Wish, and you see him in the Speedo, and he's in better shape than Channing Tatum in his prime. That would be something. Magic Mike with Charles Bronson. He's a male stripper because he wants to go and infiltrate a male strip club that may be involved in drug dealing that got involved in ending his daughter. So now he's going to make them all believe in Jesus and then shoot them.
At this rate, you're going to have a lot of time to kill before the...
This one. RJ brings up, well, Roddy once asked if you know what a Scot wears under his skirt, under his kilt. Roddy said his shoes. That makes sense. Eric Joe brings up, funny, I never lost control over seeing a penis. If I see anything I haven't seen before, I'll throw a rock at it. Well, okay. Like an actual rock, or do you have like pebbles or marbles and you fire a slingshot at it? Yeah, Weatherman Bronson was always in great shape. And remember, he was of a generation where,
He was a fucking chain smoker.
steroids and things like that were not things actors were using to get in shape. Like the big leading men of Bronson's generation were just not fat. If you see like them shirtless, like Kirk Douglas or what have you, they just weren't fat. They were just slim guys, or Tony Curtis, whoever, like the big, sexy leading men. But then Bronson was ripped as all hell, even into his 50s. And the beginning, the opening of Death Wish, there he is in a little Speedo. I bet there's probably why maybe Bronson had a very strong following in the gay community, wishing that all the Death movies were just him stuck in Hawaii doing vigilante justice in just a little Speedo. Do you believe in Jesus, mister? Well, you're going to meet him and my Speedo salesman. Bam.
What did Bronson do on his way to the gym, in the gym, and after the gym?
And well, Bronson, he also was a huge smoker, so.
That's how he died.
But that was also a thing. Well, that part of that generation of actors of smoking and drinking away, he always did that. He was very much part of that.
What did they say every time I went to the gym was James Caan? He's smoking outside.
Right. And well, James Caan's a little different because James Caan actually had been an athlete before becoming an actor. He was like first string wide receiver for Michigan State, then went into acting. So that a bit different from, like, say, Al Pacino.
What did he mainly play? His kind of characters were what?
Short fused Italian tough guys.
And what was he?
And he was Jewish.
Was a New York Jew.
Sonny Corleone with his 70s perm, played by a Jewish actor.
Sonny Corleone.
The same time of Donald Sutherland at the height of his perm perfection in the 70s, like Don't Look Now, or that 70s Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
They got no way of making that one shot clear like this.
They could just wipe that. All they have to they just have to wipe the lens.
That isn't white. That's just the screen.
Mark says, my personal favorite animator insertion is the word Illuminati on the eye chart when Scrooge McDuck was getting physical. I don't remember that, but
he stole the ball out of his hand.
Fumble?
He ripped it out.
Fumble?
He ripped it out.
Fumble.
Ball.
That should be a fumble.
He took it out while he was in the air.
Mark was just saying Michigan defense looking good. Yes, indeed, they just got a fumble.
Unless they say he's down.
Ooh.
This guy got a bigger.
I know there was a recent reboot of DuckTales with David Tennant as Uncle Scrooge. And why is it both versions of DuckTales both DuckTales have actual Scotsmen doing the voice, and both sound like an American comedian doing an accent. Both Alan Young and David Tennant, both Scotsmen, and both of them sound like a bad impression of a Scotsman. Does that mean, knowing David Tennant's crazy ass these days, he's going to want to star in a remake of Mr. Ed, except this time Wilbur's in love with Ed?
Well, they give him the glasses even if he gets a fumble recovery.
Except now, instead of a big, strong man-sounding voice, Mr. Ed's going to be voiced by Aquafina. Oh, God, did I just give somebody ideas? We got to be careful when explaining these things, because I'm pretty sure there are people in Hollywood that are listening to us, and they take our smart alecky talk and make it real.
Mullings, come on, Mullings.
Oh, they got his ankle. He got the first down, but didn't get to break out for the touchdown, Mullings. This is the Khalil Mullings show, once again.
See, that shot has water on the rain on the lens. I'm talking about the main shot.
Oh, it's the sky cam. The sky cam, they can't stop until like maybe halftime to go and wipe anything down. As Weatherman just said, stop, you're giving them ideas. Mr. Ed redone as a man in his horse romance with David Tennant and Aquafina. Oh, God, no.
Don't be a dumbass and pass.
And
Mullings,
also,
Mullings,
either way, the
Mullings.
press gets it, fights it to like the one. In either way, the press still won't, excoriate David Tennant for threatening a black lady's life in Parliament. But, then again, crazy asshole, of course. 30, all right, going down, second and goal. It's either foggy or wet, depending on what
That's
angle.
the shot I'm talking about. It's like that the whole game. It's not water drops. It's just like field fog.
It's just where Michigan decided to play this game in Silent Hill. The ceremonial coin toss at the beginning was done by James Sunderland with his dead wife's body next to him. And yes, Khalil Mullings with the second touchdown of the game. Touchdown, Michigan. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. This one, Eye Chart, Black Eye Club, Solomon's Eye on the dollar bill, celebrities flashing the covered left eye, or Left Eye Lopez from TLC, if you remember her. The one that married that football player that burned his house down.
What Big Ten school do you go to?
Was it Ohio State?
No.
I don't remember.
And it has that in the change the first name, the second half.
Not Michigan State.
Yeah.
Well, JS, what's the prediction? My prediction was 35-7. I would have done a community post like I do with like Andre Rison, Michigan State. That was Left Eye Lopez. He was playing for the Falcons and she burnt his house down.
And what did they give him because what was bad luck? He had a nickname.
Andre, what? Bad Moon.
Yes. Given to him by that idiot Chris Berman.
If it was like an afternoon or night game, I would have done a community post showing the prediction. But even with waking up earlier, still I was sent out to do other things.
When's
so it was
next week's game?
35-7. I think isn't new again.
We're in Seattle.
Oh no, it's 3:30.
No.
It's a night. Oh yeah, it's the next week is the night game for Washington. It's going to be 7:30 on ABC.
No, it's on network and app.
Okay, so I'm guessing Fox.
What's the Big Ten app?
CBS.
Big Ten app?
The Big Ten Network, you mean?
Yeah. Who covers Big Ten games every Saturday night?
Is it in ABC?
No. Jesus Christ.
Hope they weren't married, then insurance would cover the fire. Well, Mark would know that from his career. I think they actually were married. I'll have to go check that. So I remember she also was the one that then like died in a car accident when she was like I think in South America doing some like volunteer work, and she died in a car crash down there. I remember. Let's see, played for a lot of different teams. Jesus, he's bouncing around all over the place. Hell, he actually he ended his NFL career in 2000, then came back for a couple seasons years later for the Toronto Argonauts in the CFL. I'm trying to relationships. He dated on and off. They were never married. So, well, there. Well, then, yep. No. They were never married.
It says it'll say college pro.
Yeah, high school was Flint Northwestern. Well, then,
The same high school as the Beach.
Yeah. Well, Mark, they weren't married. The insurance covering the fire and all of that. Well, remember, there also was a trial where she had to go and testify in court and all that over burning down his crap. Yeah, Weatherman brings up, yep, stupid idiot burned his shoes in the plastic tub because he had to go to a team function, and she wanted to go out dancing. It's not as if, especially remember mid-90s TLC, it's not as if she already was known to go chasing waterfalls by herself. So why?
What did he say about her?
I don't remember. Bitches be crazy or creeping crazy. I don't know what the one.
Bitches be burned.
Yes, Jill, I have not only seen the film, I saw it. My father took me to see Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in the theater when I was 6. In high school, I had the novel and even had the Criterion Collection DVD release where the cover was the first edition cover of the novel from the 70s. Yeah. That and the adrenochrome scene, which for me is spooky, not because of demon face Benicio del Toro, but the footage of the movie Tarantula and all the TVs in the background. That scared me more than the demon horns and the breasts on the back of Benicio del Toro, where he's feeding Johnny Depp cocaine on the bayonet with the demon eyes. Yes, my father took that. That was for a 6-year-old to see a movie like that. I think it also was the first time I ever saw Johnny Depp in anything. Not unless you count me mistaking Skeet Ulrich for Johnny Depp in Scream. That's why I like that. Usually, that's why it was strange for my mother not wanting me to see, like a goofy show with like titties in it, but she was okay. I mentioned Silence of the Lambs, another one that Johnny Depp did where it's on Tubi. I rewatched it recently, The Ninth Gate, where he's he's investigating the authenticity of a book written by the devil. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen that. I've got the whole series DVD Blu-ray set in my bedroom.
Jesus Christ, he tackled them.
Actually, hell, one Christmas, I remember my mother got me the big DVD box set from like the mid 2000s that had all the movies together, and it included the 3D glasses for the Freddy's Dead, the ending, the 3D ending with Billy Zane's sister. Is the in that one?
Yeah, why don't you show the two linemen that tackle our guys? Didn't block them. Look at him. He tackled them. Didn't go hold it. Good fucking God.
Or the, I think 9,000 gallons of prop blood that was used in the scene where he sucked in the bed and all the blood shoots out. Something that's probably now made it Amber Heard's favorite movie, I bet. Knowing her crazy ass.
What's that noise?
Just some tapping, some rain.
So funny because we're like 40 minutes away from there.
Or as Jay says, see no titties. Look how that turned out. Oh yeah, it was. I've told the story about I was watching some show on Halloween. There was like a dopey parody of Baywatch, and my mother saw what was going on, took the remote out of my hand, and changed it to Silence of the Lambs. Right when Lecter's escaping, from the cell, he bites the one man's face off, then beats the other cop to death with his own billy club that he then guts and has hanging from the railing, with the flag behind him, like a big flag. And then the other guy, he rips his face off, steals his clothes, and wears his face and clothes as a disguise to escape.
Get up, get up.
Oh, drop the ball. Third down. Nope, they got a punt.
What would she rather have you watch the episode Son of the Beat, Silence of the Clams or Silence of the Lambs?
So, no, she changed it to Silence of the Lambs, so it's proof, yes.
She wouldn't let you watch Silence of the Clams because it tits in it.
Oh yeah, Jill. Yeah. Although strange, yes, my mother also was with me watching, Sleepy Hollow, where the headless horseman is beheading people left, right, and center, and also Christopher Walken with fangs as the headless horseman. That was okay for
lawn jockey.
That was okay for an 8-year-old to see.
Lawn jockey.
With Johnny Depp's English accent, even though he's supposed to be American, but like 1800s America, that English accent still would have been a thing for most Americans. In that movie, I'm more just find it strange or whatever that that's the only time Christina Ricci was in anything Tim Burton directed. Look at her and tell me that doesn't. Even Lindsay Ellis made that joke when she was still with Channel Awesome and reviewed that. Like, you would have thought that Tim Burton had willed her into existence to be his leading lady, but no, they only did that one thing together.
First one, 1903.
Yes. Oh, it's 1903. Yeah. Then again, you're looking at the guy who watched her in the Casper movie a lot as a little boy and thought she was the most beautiful girl in the world and had a huge crush on her for many years. I saw the Casper movies now available on Tubi. And although at the same time, she didn't like me wanting to see Hannibal, where that's the one where the ending where Ray Liotta is fed bits of his own brain while he's still awake in front of a woman, in front of Julianne Moore. And that's after the flesh-eating pigs wind up slaughtering the rich millionaire Cuties fan who got his face all ripped off and fed to a Rottweiler by Lecter. It seemed like a good idea at the time. As the nostalgia critic called me, Gary Oldman's character in that, he looks like if the Crypt Keeper had a child with the Eraserhead baby.
Look how foggy it is.
Oh, yeah.
Make out the people in the block.
Radio. When I see that, all I think of is radio. What's going on with that radio? When are the air screamers going to swoop down and pluck Orgy out from the field and eat him? Weatherman knows what I'm talking about. I was going to run or try. Yeah, he's just going to run out of bounds.
2 yards. 39.
Jay says, I would encourage my son to have a healthy attraction of boobs. Take that away and end up with more problems. Yes. You wind up with a male feminist like Joss Whedon, who I would bet anything his crazy bitch, Gloria Steinem, academic feminist mother probably violently punished him for catching him with Playboy or something. And then you wind up with a guy who has such a pathetic fear pathology of his own dick. And then all those feminist picadillos, he winds up compulsively cheating on his wife and threatening women's careers for disagreeing with a wardrobe choice or something like shit like that. Yeah, having the balls to threaten the career of Israeli Defense Force veteran Gal Gadot. Let's see. Mark brings up. Mark says, my friend tells a story of when he was watching The Terminator and his dad walked in just as Linda Hamilton was writing Michael Biehn in the film. All that violence, no problem, but some, motel room sex, that's too much. Can't have that. All right. Well, speaking of that, well, that's probably why you've got a million miles away from that. From the one non-Disney movie tape that's in this collection is this. Famous of Kate Winslet's immaculate breasts right here on film forever. Although I bet you the first tape, that's the tape of the Kate Winslet scene. I bet you that has all kinds of audio and tracking problems from the people that can't compulsively either pause that moment or rewind it, fast forward, rewind it again and again, and that tape being so discolored and stretched out, like also with Basic Instinct or Fast Times at Ridgemont High or Under Siege or every other movie Jennifer Connelly did in the 90s. Or every movie Bo Derek starred in the 80s. Mark Nichols says, my dad walked in at just the wrong moment during Pretty Woman, ruining my date. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. Or Mark, yeah, all male feminists are predators trying to get laid. Well, they can't get into your panties through the front door of being somebody that a woman's actually attracted to or interested in. So they got to do the sneaky shit. They got to be transparent about that crap.
So the guys,
in case you're wondering why those guys are always still all the writers and producers in Hollywood, and with all the talk about subverting hurtful old stereotypes Hollywood's reinforcing, the dumb, violent jock that's always the one that cheats on women and beats women and threatens them, that trope is still in full force. Can't help but notice that.
Starts 5-0 in bowl games. Look at that.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Really, Jill? Oh, well. No wonder Al Gore winds up talking that way if his dad beat him like that. Or Jay, yeah, but he was drawing her nude, so it was okay. I do remember that about Titanic for whatever reason. That was a movie that had any naked ladies in it that my mother didn't have any problem with watching, or me seeing. That was okay. Maybe because she was so distracted drooling over Leo, knowing that. Might be it. Or of course my sister as well, like with although my sister was an early adopter because she was drooling over Leo in What's Eating Gilbert Grape with Johnny Depp years before even this was out. And then that Romeo and Juliet movie that she had posters for and the tape board out.
You showed the two men sports your mother, she starts wearing April Lane.
And VHS, she even VHS recorded when the music video for the big tie-in song from the movie would be playing on MTV. Because yeah, MTV still had some music videos in '96. Well, yes, Tipper also, between rap music and metal music, and I think also Dungeons and Dragons, she was into all that, the devil's music crap. And then when there was that whole convergence about metal music causing Satanism, Dee Snider, of all people, wound up verbally putting her in her place because Blackie Lawless was busy and couldn't show up there. Even though of all those people saying, these are all these musicians that are Satanists, only one of them actually was an outspoken Satanist, that Swedish guy, King Diamond, that the Clerks 2 song, Grandma, the Grandma, what was it like? That guy. The rest, no, they're just a bunch of dudes blocked it, running. Oh, speaking of, well, it used to be if you were a guy that couldn't get laid in high school or whatever, you would have to develop a talent or skill, like say getting really good at singing or playing instruments, and then you could become a rock star. And look at dudes like Dee Snider or Blackie Lawless from Wasp or whatever before they were big rock stars, and then see afterwards, and that's why they were able to get with whatever woman they wanted afterwards. As opposed to your Joss Whedons or your Matt Hickeys and all that, or all that crap. Mark, it wouldn't shock me if it turns out she also was into that whole Dungeons and Dragons satanic panic thing. Because yeah, the thing with the rock stars in the 80s, to the point where there was like a big hearing in DC where Dee Snider came to talk and a bunch of other guys also came to talk, I remember. And that was even before the whole rap music thing and the parental advisory sticker that was, added by her and her little group.
Michigan Catholics.
Oh,
and Michigan Catholic.
When George Carlin came out with a new comedy album in 1990, the title of the album was just the parental advisory sticker, as like throwing it back in their face. The album cover was just his face with like the bottom half being blocked by the parental advice. The parental advisory sticker was blocking out the bottom half of Carlin's face.
Down to one.
Weatherman, when I brought this box in from the curb, I knew that, yeah, the horror and the pain of your sisters bringing this movie over and over, you mentioned before. Well, considering how many copies of this are out there, this probably wouldn't be worth much on eBay.
He didn't touch the ground, so
I might just.
That might be a 6 right there, baby. I'd review that shit. That looked like he was in for a touchdown. He did the same thing in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Or as Weatherman, they'll saying, my eyes. Okay, I'll put it away. Here, have Kate Winslet's breasts. And because it's Kate Winslet, you have a whole variety of films to choose from where you get to see her naked. And now it's 1st and goal, Michigan.
He didn't have a camera shot. All they had is a shot of Moore. Unless they reviewed this and called it a touchdown.
No, it's showing 1st and goal.
Well, watch. He's in the air. He hits the pylon. It's a touchdown. He never touched out of bounds. You better. Fox missed a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, Jay, when it comes to the constant variety of Kate Winslet nudity to enjoy, there's that weird little Australian film she did with Harvey Keitel afterwards, where, yes, called Holy Smoke, where she's full frontal naked, including Bush.
You scored.
But right now, it was a touchdown. Khalil Mullings with his 3rd touchdown of the game, and the extra point is up, 21-0 Michigan. So, hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best, hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue. That was I remember that movie. She was there with Harvey Keitel and all of that, and you get to see her full frontal naked, including the nice bush. Or was the part that I think Jay brings up better? Yeah, she's nude again, but urinates on camera, standing upright. But yeah, one of the few things that Yahtzee guy from the Zero Punctuation guy for The Escapist said that was true. Just because you're being ironically fetishistic doesn't mean people still aren't going to jack off to it. Just because, it's some feminist deconstruction of nudity or whatever, that still doesn't mean that there's going to be a lot of dudes spanking it to new Kate Winslet tit shots, ma'am. Okay. I remember that was the director who also did The Piano, or the other one where you see Holly Hunter naked and Harvey Keitel's dick.
Remember in all the FYEs next to the Playboys?
They had the hentai, the anime 18 plus, the anime 18 plus aisles that they would have at FYE. Like,
you can call it whatever you want. You're checking off the cartoon.
That one I would see the FYE that was in the Georgetown Mall. That's now the Georgetown Mall is still open, but that FYE is closed.
I'll give you the Detroit translation. It walks like a duck. It talks like a duck. It jacks off like a duck. It's a fucking duck.
Or is that? Well, I think even now, more recently, she did some movie with Idris Elba where the English Nubian mountain is mounting her like a bronco, if Black Dynamite enjoyed fish and chips. Probably now you know why, between that and not putting on the dress, why the only time you get to see Idris Elba in anything anymore is either Booking.com commercials or voicing a red cartoon hedgehog that glides. But hey, the interception. That's it's out of bounds.
Inbound.
Oh no, inbounds. Interception. Number 20. That's not Mullings. Who is it?
No, Mullings was offense.
Number 20. Michigan just got an interception. Well, I'm already now 2 touchdowns away from being accurate with what Michigan was supposed to score.
I don't know if I can probably review it.
But... Is this some kind of bust? Very impressive, sir.
No, he might have been out of bounds. Close. They'll review it, but it looked like
I will say this about Holy Smoke. At least in that one, from the director of The Piano starring Harvey Keitel, we don't see Harvey Keitel's penis in that one. And that was another thing about my mother. She didn't want me watching, stuff with like naked ladies in it or whatever, but she was okay with me watching The Piano where you have full frontal Harvey Keitel. She was okay with that.
Who did Harvey Keitel show up sure bungalow with?
John Belushi. So, okay. Naked women, sex or sex jokes, wrong. Harvey Keitel's penis and Anthony Hopkins mutilating police officers, perfectly fine.
And he was Polo. He's a Polish Jew.
No, nice beaver. Thank you. I just had it stuffed. Aren't you? It's dangerous. That's why I always carry a big gun. Aren't you worried it's going to go off without you wanting it? Oh, at that point, I just think about baseball. And yes, all 3 of them are available on Paramount Plus. Because of the Walmart subscription my father has, we get that for free. It's also good for if you want to watch any Ninja Turtles cartoon. They have all of them, from the classic 80s version, the 2003 cartoon. That's the one I saw the most of, or the 2012 version, which I didn't watch as much of as I wanted to. Although that did lead to a nice, good little like demarcation when if you went to Toys R Us and you saw the Ninja Turtles merchandise that came back in style with 2012, you could easily see the movie stuff from the cartoon stuff because the cartoon ones they actually look cute and cool and memorable, while the movie ones had those freaky snake snouts. The butt ugly Michael Bay movie turtles that had the snout like little slit nostrils that made them look like snakes.
Look at this. Last week plays block, punt, touchdown, interception.
You remember that they looked like buff snakes with feet, with the little slits like a snake has on its face. Or as Jay says, see, that's what I mean by mom steering you in the wrong all caps direction. Boobs are bad. Harvey Keitel's penis and mutilations and blow explosions good. She had no problem with me watching Predator. And remember, Predator is a film that has skinned corpses dangling out of a helicopter. Maybe because she was just drooling over Arnold and Carl Weathers. Or no, drooling over Arnold, but also drooling over Carl Weathers, but also being afraid and having secret fantasies about him, being an escaped slave that would break into her bedroom and take her virginity in the name of the Union. No, it was my mother growing up well off in the South. She'd have those Southern Belle nightmares of a Union soldier or an escaped slave breaking into her bedroom and taking her maidenhead as a spoils of war for the Union, or as revenge for slavery, something like that. Because as my mother did have a lawn jockey on her front porch in a neighborhood where there were crack houses and all kinds of assisted living facilities with poor black people. And she had a damn lawn jockey with the super black face and the big bright red lips like old time minstrel shows. And then she wonders why I'd come home from school with concussions and broken wrists. Or there'd be days where, like, when I remember reading Bret Hart's biography and he described what he went through with the multiple concussion syndrome between Goldberg kicking him in the head on Starrcade 99 and then landing headfirst in a hardcore match with Terry Funk on the concrete, the unprotected chair shot to the face from Sid Vicious, and he's laying there on the ground on the mat, and he's looking up at all the lights in the ceiling, and all he sees is just bright, sprinkling little stars. Exactly like what I had for a good long while in middle school, where one concussion after another from getting jumped and beaten in middle school, I would either have spouts of temporary blindness, or I would just see bright lights in front of me that weren't really there, or also a high-pitched ringing in my ear. And of course, yeah, the mic picked this up. This wrist being broken to the point where, depending on the time of the year, when I turn my wrist, it sounds like I'm snapping breadsticks. Luckily now, once I got around high school, the temporary blindness, the bright light fits, and the ringing in the ears have pretty much stopped. Although I could imagine if I ever did go through a CAT scan or whatever, like NFL players, I probably would have some. That's definitely some post-concussion syndrome. I don't need WebMD to figure that out.
Who's better bet between those three?
The duck.
You quack up your duck when you plug.
Hello, could you like to have a Roland Zahay? Yes. And I do have that Blu-ray in my room. So when it comes to either if I was going to do like a movie watch along, that would either be like something on streaming or from a physical media collection, one way or another. I've got Young Frankenstein right there as one of them. What? That was a band, like some weird white trash band in the South that Tosh. No, it was a clip of Tosh.0. They had a clip of this like band in the South called Goat and Your Mom, and the frontman looks like white trash Alan Moore, who wears an American flag as a cape and the Texan flag as a Speedo.
You know what happened if you told Uncle Bill the Goats and Your Mom?
Or what big knockers? Well, Terry Garr did have nice knockers. I wouldn't call them big, but they still were very nice. Although now I don't think she's dead, but she's now just a complete vegetable. And didn't, play in the NFL in the 70s, so that's especially surprising.
What did that burnout kid on Two Half Men say?
Oh yeah, Harvey Keitel smokes crack in Bad Lieutenant and stands there fully nude. Oh, I've seen Bad Lieutenant. The NC-17 cut of it, where he's with the hookers and he's just like standing around naked, high on cocaine. And then later on, he pulls over two girls who are speeding. He makes the one girl show him her ass in the thong, and the other girl demonstrate her how she sucks a cock while he's jerking off in the middle of the street. Like, do you know what? Hey, show me how you suck a cock. Show me how you suck a cock. And there she is, like doing it with her mouth, doing a best impression of 90% of actresses in Hollywood that make it. And there he is with his pants down. It's like his arms below from. You can tell with arm motion that he's got it out like good old Harvey or Willie Brown or Bill Clinton or God knows what else, as he's whacking away.
Your mother sucked and didn't make it.
It was I'm guessing she wasn't that good at it then. Well, also but remember, when it comes to all that, you also still got to get the audition or get in there with the agent, where then Harvey's going to invite you to the private meeting at the Chateau Marmont, will answer the door naked or with an open robe, and there'll be Leslie Headland hiding with the camera, to either video camera or Polaroid camera, to then blackmail you into silence and sign an NDA. So that's why you'll sooner see Jennifer Lawrence admit she's a skank hoe, generically speaking, than admit that she blew Harvey Weinstein for career advancement. In case you're wondering about her booze hounding and her spontaneous fits of laughter that make her sound like she's Joaquin Phoenix and Joker. All right, now past the 2-minute warning of the first half, Minnesota's got the ball. Hell, these days, I'd sooner bone Cloris Leachman than go anywhere near Jennifer Lawrence.
She's been dead for a long time.
Exactly. Hell, Cloris Leachman in the Beverly Hillbillies movie over Jennifer Lawrence any day. And yes, it's just a jump to the left, but that'd be one of those where you have to ask my sister about that, because that was another one of those that she had the VHS of that, and even the album of the movie, posters of all that, Rocky Horror, everything. Oh, nice. Clipped him. I remember one Halloween, trick-or-treating, she went as the maid, Columbia, I think was her character name in Rocky Horror.
What's the flag for? Can't go too hard.
There is one.
Fuck you.
Oh, horseshit penalty on Michigan, roughing the passer. Oh. Jay brings up, my parents had to pay channels on cable for a little while, so that's how I saw Bad Lieutenant. Oh, Lord. Lieutenant, where he's smoking cocaine, he's snorting crack. The lady he's smoking the crack with, who was the star of Miss 45. Speaking of,
come on, his shoulder touched him. Give me a break.
Miss 45, which is always available for free on streaming. Miss 45, or as I call it, a male feminist's worst nightmare. If you ever heard of that movie? Oh no, stuffed him for a loss anyway.
Tackle, 15 yards.
Clipped him, and now second down, and Minnesota lost yards. My AMC cast had a damaged celluloid copy they wouldn't replace, but we still had good shows. Oh, that's nice. That's the Rocky Horror being, it's definitely the longest theatrical release ever of all time. I think it's still in theaters to this day. I think even during COVID lockdowns, there was like some theater somewhere in the world that was still open and active and was still showing Rocky Horror. So yeah. Rocky Horror, that's what I was talking about with my sister loving that. And we had the tape, we had the album of the production of the movie, the songs in the movie. And yes, she did go trick-or-treating as the maid. Well, at least one year, I remember. There's some old family photos we have of that. Oh, stuffed for another bigger loss.
There you go. He's rocking the baby, the big graham cracker. I'm rocking the baby.
Oh, yeah.
He's rocking the baby.
Yes, Jay, I remember HBO and Cinemax and Showtime late night. Sure. Well, for me as a child, late night would be like, after 10, and famously Wednesdays on HBO in the mid-90s, you'd have Dream On and Tales from the Crypt. Both shows had titties in them, but the one was a silly show with a lot of nudity, and the other was a horror comedy show that had gore and nudity. And then, but now all those kind of shows or all those kind of movies, all the late night stuff that would always star either like, a Shannon Tweed or Shannon Weary or Kira Reed or Thomas Hayden Church's wife, Mia Zatoli, all of them now they're not available on Max or anything like that. You'd have to go to those sites that end in Hub or X. They end with Hub or start with X. But Yeah, that's the reason why I respect Thomas Hayden Church as an actor and as a man. When he was Oscar nominated for his part in Sideways, there he was, showed up there at the Oscars with his Skinamax actress wife. There he'd be at the red carpet premiere, whatever. No, ahead of time at the Oscars, they'd always just show that stuff on E or whatever. Yeah, here, I am. And here's my wife. You might remember from Playboy's Wet and Wild Live or Fastlane to Vegas or Naked Betrayal.
Yeah, but there she by her real name.
As Playboy Wet and Wild Live, where Thomas Hayden Church's wife was there rolling around in baby oil, lezzing off naked with Dita Von Teese, who's now been headlining Vegas for 20 years.
Well, he's going to be in field goal range. He's going to be in field goal range.
Yeah, Marco. Actually, I remember the album, the movie album of Rocky Horror before ever actually watching the movie, and yeah, the very, very catchy. I know it was a stage play first, but I think that album of like the original production that was in London, that's I don't know if that's in print. You can find it easily pirated on YouTube now, and that they still do theater productions of the original play, but the real theatricalities in going to a midnight showing of the actual movie itself with all the people that go dress up and act out stuff in front of the theater, in front of the screen. Jay, I've seen Rock and Roll High School with the blonde from Halloween. That also was one of the bitchy girls. The one who's always wearing the hat in Carrie, PJ Souls. They're the one that looks like my mom. But yeah, Rock and Roll High School Forever. I've heard of it, but never seen it. The one with Corey Feldman. Now that one. Or surprisingly, it's been pirated on YouTube and hasn't gotten taken down. Is the sequel to Rocky Horror Shock Treatment that they made, which is catchy, but also just for it's always like the lesser brother, the lesser step sibling or whatever. Rocky Horror.
Sack 'em.
Oh yeah, another big sack. This is the most sacks that they've had all season long. This is the most sacks Michigan has had.
Mr. Uber.
And yes, the man who did the sack is the nephew of an Uber ride I got to the laundromat last year. It was like it was in the middle of last season. We were taking an Uber ride up to our laundromat, and we had our Michigan stuff on. Oh yeah, it turns out the driver, his nephew, is now just made his third sack of the game for Michigan, number 26 on the defense.
Oh, geez, he ain't even playing today. Our All-American defensive back.
Joe brings up, I've seen plenty of interviews with Richard O'Brien on how those songs evolved. Well, I know that was a thing he did like to pass the time when he was an unemployed actor, and he just like wrote the whole thing just for like himself, then wound up actually going and really making it, which I mean, good for him. There's also it was only on TV in the UK, but it was a really popular game show in Britain at the time in the 90s. You can now find pirated on YouTube called The Crystal Maze, where Richard O'Brien was the host. It's kind of like a Double Dare for grown-ups with different obstacle courses and things like that. And each one of these zones you have to go through, it's all going through these puzzles and these obstacle courses to find one of these Swarovski crystals, hence the Crystal Maze.
Oh, he's open.
Oh, no. Oh, I think it was interception. Was it? Oh, God, no, they actually caught it.
He caught the ball. 2 seconds to go.
Oh, 2 seconds in the first half, and Hail Mary full of grace caught it at the 2-yard line. Oh, they're going to go for a field goal. I think it's good this time. Oh, yeah, it's good. They threw all the way down for big Hail Mary, miracle Hail Mary that got down to 2 and rushed to get a field goal at halftime just so that they can get themselves on the board.
Look at this. Our guy had the interception. Look at that. 10 had the ball.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. They should replay that.
I don't think they can because they already went.
Barry, number 10, had the ball.
Let's see. I've also got you. Oh, actually, Jill has autographs from Patricia Quinn and Richard O'Brien. That's actually amazing. I bet my sister would probably love that. That's cool. I've never seen them at any conventions I've been to, but I know for sure they've done that. Maybe also some like big special screening that would have the actors showing up to a Q&A or whatever. They have that. Yes, Jay, Rocky Horror is amazing, and it's something that is definitely around. You can always easily find that somewhere to watch it. Let me go and get a little bit of a... Now that we are at halftime, It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. But listen closely, not for very much longer. I've got to keep control. Because I remember doing the time warp, then drinking those frozen twin, and the madness within me. Out it comes like calling, let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's just a jump to the left and then a step to the right. And put your hands on your hips. And when you bring your knees in tight, but it's the pelvic thrust that really drives you insane. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. Well, I was walking down the street just having a think when a snake of a guy gave me an evil wink. He shook me up and took me by surprise. He had a pickup truck and those devil's eyes. He stared at me and I felt the change. A time meant nothing, never would again. And let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's just a jump to the left and then a step to the right. Put your hands on your hips and you bring your knees in tight. But it's the pelvic thrust. It really drives you insane. And let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's just a jump to the left and then a step to the right, and put your hands on your hips and bring your knees in tight. But it's the pelvic thrust that really drives you insane. And let's do the time warp again. And let's do the time warp again. And does anybody know how to Madison? I don't know, maybe. I got the lyrics. Now just say what I say. The endix, I do the rock myself. Okay. Well, Jay's saying that in that sequel, Corey Feldman was 25 playing a high schooler. Well, actually, for most actors playing high schoolers, that's relatively more accurate than others. Most of the time, you pretty much had to wait all the way until like John Hughes, his era in the 80s, to see high school, like actual teens playing high school characters in movies. Most of the time there. More often than not, I think, like The Breakfast Club, most of them were, except for, I think, Judd Nelson, probably not. Although then again, he also is the guy in that movie who's got the quintessential 90s grunge look in a quintessential 80s movie with the side bangs and the boots and the flannel. And Mark says he learned to play Time Warp on the guitar recently. Well, I know I saw somewhere online Richard O'Brien did a bunch of acoustic covers of the Rocky Horror songs as like some special feature for the DVD, that, or of course, science fiction double feature. Except that time there, they actually could afford to have him do the song and have footage from all those black and white movies he's referencing in the opening song. Because if I remember right, with the movie, they wanted the opening credits to just be footage from all those movies that the opening song references, but they couldn't get the rights to all the different clips. So that's where they came up with just the lips and the black void singing, because they couldn't. And then decades later, as a special feature on the DVD, there's Richard O'Brien doing the acoustic version of the song, and there it is with Day of the Triffids and The Day the Earth Stood Still and The Invisible Man and Tarantula. Yes. When Tarantula Took to the Hills, which was the film debut of Clint Eastwood. Lots of those big monster 50s movies have some big well-known actor making their debut there. Clint Eastwood debuted in Tarantula. Lee Van Cleef, his big Italian cowboy rival, appeared in The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And later Nimoy has a little part in Them, the big the radioactive ant movie. Or Weatherman also says, because of the labor laws, once they relaxed that, when you started seeing actual teenagers playing teens, well, I remember, yeah, also John Cusack talking about that, where he got into acting and he had like little parts and stuff like 16 Candles, but he would do the movie, but then he'd still be going to school, but the movie wouldn't be out for like another in the middle of the school year. So he would still go there and, he was still some nobody. Then suddenly, the stuff like that starts coming out. And then now he's got all the girls in school coming all over him. And of course, Jay brings up Susan Sarandon and how most of the time when she's singing, it sounds like she's touching herself. But then again, knowing her and how she was always getting naked and marrying dudes half her age, it doesn't shock me. Although considering how long she's been around and how many dudes she's been with between that and her long-time marriage, if you were gonna go and give her some elderly pickle tickle, I would just have the feeling that Tim Robbins was watching me. And there would be on top and looking over, and there would be Tim Robbins standing there glaring at me the whole time. What are you doing with my wife? All right. Even if it was with the daughter they had, who also now has been acting and doing all kinds of nudity. I remember she was a stripper on Californication, and that movie with Adam Sandler where he has the kid with his like high school teacher, and then they go back to her later on, and now it's Susan Sarandon's daughter playing the teacher that was with him as a boy, and now grown up, now she's Susan Sarandon, so mother and daughter playing matching sluts, I guess. All right there. And again, most actors are usually pretty tiny people. So then when you get like a 6'5" NBA-sized guy like Tim Robbins or John Lithgow, they stand out a lot more. Probably why when John Lithgow was the villain in Cliffhanger, most of the time you don't really see him and Stallone on screen together. Mostly because of, I think Lithgow is literally a foot taller than Stallone. So having them confronting each other on camera, probably there would be a lot of movie magic to cover up how much he towers over him. Like that shot, that's famous on-set picture recently that came out with De Niro on the set of that Scorsese film that he did with Joe Pesci that was Oscar nominated, and they show De Niro on set and he's wearing like pimp platform shoes. Yeah, he's got these shoes on that have like the big platforms in them, like a pimp, to make up for how small he is. And yeah, Joe brings up, oh yeah, this them. That's another one of those movies where I'd have to thank Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments for introducing me to, because I never heard of that before then. And then yeah, Them, which was a 50s big insect movie, and the part specifically where they have the lady who was the brunette in the elevator from Liar Liar talking about how scary it was, and the first time you see one of the giant ants and it's got human ribs in its mandibles. And then it drops, and we see on the ground are the skeletal remains of the sheriff's deputy that was going out in the desert with his gun and his badge and the rest of his bones. And hello to Emily Kruger. There we go. There we are. But then again, with a guy like Tim Robbins being 6'5" or whatever, and with a known slut like Susan Sarandon, we know, okay, guy like that, over 6 feet, big head, big hands, big feet, probably got big things elsewhere. Let's just say that later on in the 90s, when he decided that it was a good idea after doing stuff like Shawshank Redemption and Jacob's Ladder to co-star with Martin Lawrence. Let's just say Martin Lawrence is probably feeling a little inadequate next to the 6'5" white boy.
Get 2 words for you. That's Sullivan.
Just saying. Or and also maybe also Morgan Freeman and Shawshank, seeing him alongside there too, and thinking, well, okay, it's not just the big shoes. Yeah, Stallone is like 5'6", says Jill. Yeah, that's why. And the thing is, Stallone, most actors are like around that height or whatever, Italian or not, like Tom Cruise or what have you. So when you see John Lithgow with Stallone in Cliffhanger, you've got an actor who's about literally a foot taller.
Be real. I was with the man daily.
Or
5'7". He's not 5'6".
Like that, or I mentioned Tim Robbins or John Lithgow, both look like NBA players next to most actors, most leading men. Like when Lithgow was the villain in Santa Claus the movie, it didn't take a lot of trickery to make Dudley Moore look like an elf next to him.
Why did they take me out of the Hey Adrian, I did it scene?
Because you made Stone look too small.
All you saw was my back and shoulders, and behind you saw his little head.
Or who else? Oh yeah, John Leguizamo in Spawn. Guy's so naturally tiny. All he had to do to look like a fat midget was just squat in the fat suit in Spawn as to play the clown.
Why do you hate him so much?
All right. Mark jokes that no, Tom Cruise is not short. He's not that. He's 4'13". I didn't see the whole episode. I've seen clips of it of the Tom Cruise joke they did on a Family Guy where he becomes friends with Stewie and he's the same height.
What did my high school girlfriend tell me she was?
5'13".
5'12".
Oh, 5'12".
I'm 5'12".
It's like when a woman says she's turning 2010 because she's that afraid of turning. It's that much of like a psychological nightmare to be 30. Well, Mark, it's funny because it's true. It's definitely that with old Cruise, old boy. Probably why, if you notice, yeah, on one of those parts before he really became known as a big serious actor, if you remember Tim Robbins having a tiny part as like the tail gunner or one of the tail gunners in Top Gun, you don't really see him in frame with Tom Cruise that much because the like 5'7" or something at best Tom Cruise against the NBA-sized Robbins would definitely, make your big pilot's action star look like look like Ben Shapiro or look like he'd make him look like either Ben Shapiro or a comic book accurate Wolverine, like that one gag in Deadpool Wolverine. Or as Jay says, that's why I don't like Tom Cruise in action movies.
He's named after a gay terminology.
That's actually his middle name. That's one of those, yeah, with Cruise, that's his stage name, his middle name, like Orson Welles. Orson was his middle name. He's actually George Orson Welles. But Tom Cruise is actually, his full name is Tom Cruise Mapother IV. But yeah, what's going to look better as the name above a title in the poster? Mapother IV or Cruise? Like he's got that cousin who's also an actor, and I think the biggest thing his cousin did was like a supporting role in Swordfish. And I think I remember right, they tried replacing the voice. They tried to replace the voice of Agent 47 in one of the Hitman games. They wanted to recast him with Tom Cruise's cousin, and then the fans online and the developers of the series got so pissed off they secretly recorded Dave Bateson doing his lines for the game anyway. Then eventually, because of the online outrage, the developers caved and wound up bringing back Dave Bateson to keep doing the voice of Agent 47, and just sent that guy back to the curb. Or is that?
That's great.
Weatherman says most movies Tom Cruise wears two lips in any scene with other actors close-ups. Yeah, like when I was still watching Honest Trailers, they did the one on Top Gun, and they make the joke of like all the different ways that Tony Scott's filmmaking craft is able to make the 5'7" Cruise look intimidating. Scenes where he's clearly standing on something. Scenes where his co-stars are sitting down and leaning back. Scenes where he's in frame with a woman who's clearly in flats. Scenes where he's standing up while someone else is squatting. Scenes where it's only him and the co-stars in separate close-ups. I mean, no wonder you've got 6'5" Tim Robbins and they're never in the same frame, as I was saying. Because NBA-sized white guy that became an actor instead of an NBA player, yeah, it's basically he could go and put Cruise up on his shoulders and give him like a little piggyback ride to take him to Disneyland if he felt like it. That which would be a funny as hell image to have. It would be like when Ben Shapiro stands next to his wife and he needs his wife to reach the high shelf at grocery shopping, or when Ben Shapiro needs to ride a basset hound to reach the top shelf in the pantry in his home. Or like the dwarf among midgets gag on Family Guy. Excuse me, sir, could you reach that for us? Yes, I can. That's why mainly the reason why the Daily Wire people are so angry that Steven Crowder would not sign with them, because then that means Shapiro could take Crowder to the grocery store to reach all the Hive shelves on his behalf. At least that's what he wanted, and then he said no. Oh yeah, or Mark brings up Tom Cruise in the locker room scene in Top Gun wearing lifts hidden under a towel, and all his co-stars are either sitting down or like they're crouched down, or of course, very close up. Like, I bet you Val Kilmer is no big imposing guy, but next to Tom Cruise, he looks like an NBA star. He might as well be as tall as John Lithgow or Tim Robbins. Or Weatherman brings up Stallone wears lifts a lot in scenes with Carl Weathers in the first two Rockies. Well, like with De Niro, except De Niro, they actually do have on-set photo of him like that, where it's that, I think it's called The Irishman, where he's got the big pimp platform shoes on set. Maybe now you know why, when it comes to his co-stars that have come and gone with all those Mission Impossible movies, he keeps the short, doughy, ugly Simon Pegg around, while a big strapping dude like Henry Cavill is there for one movie as the villain, and then you never see him again. To the point where, yeah, in the first Mission Impossible, John Voight and the Frenchman from the Matthew Broderick Godzilla are there only at the end. And even then, the ending is not a big fight scene. It's a big chase with a helicopter and a bullet train. So it's never really Cruise having to throw down with Voight or with Jean Reno, because both of them probably also tower over Cruise, I bet. Yeah, Mark, that like the platform shoes with the goldfish inside them, like, I'm going to get you, sucker. And now that we've got an extended halftime, let's go and look at some of the other tapes that are in this box I got. Oh, speaking of a mix and match of classic Disney and Disney Renaissance, Hercules. I remember actually this Hercules I loved so much. I actually had the Disney Hercules pajamas that came with a little cape, and even played the remember there was a video game? I played the PC port of it, not on PlayStation or anything else. With where Rip Torn is the voice of Zeus, and the villain Hades is James Woods, and they've got the chorus there. Instead of a Greek chorus, it's like a parody of the Supremes. And Bobcat Goldthwait is one of the little henchmen right there. I can't remember which one, but you'll never forget a voice like Bobcat. I never saw Aladdin growing up. I saw the Aladdin cartoon show that it afterwards, and of course, Gilbert Godfrey. I keep bringing up that 100 scariest movie moments for countdown show that Bravo did, but one of the things that surprised me about it too was they have one of the people talking is Gilbert Godfrey, and surprisingly really well informed about when they cut to him. He's actually really very knowledgeable about the old black and white monster movies they cut to him about, with like Freaks or Frankenstein or Dracula. And except for, of course, with Stallone, Rocky IV, because of the whole David and Goliath, the Soviet bear against America, they lean into the height difference with Dolph Lundgren being so much bigger than him. That then, Dolph Lundgren, the Swedish Marine Corps veteran and kickboxing champion, one real hit from Lundgren put Stallone in the hospital during filming the fight, their big fight scene. No wonder he was so perfectly cast as the Punisher. White Skull shirt on or not. Let's see what other tapes they've gotten here. This one, it's Disney's Sing Along, Be Our Guest, Volume 10 includes, Be Our Guest, Spoonful of Sugar, Little Wooden Head, Bella Notte from Lady and the Tramp, Heffalumps and Woozles. In the back, they've got Lady and the Tramp, Beauty and the Beast, and Pinocchio. So see, we've got a Piglet sticker on there. It's like 6'8" Dolph and 5'6" Stallone, says Weatherman. I don't know if Dolph is 6'8", but I mean, he does look big next to him. It's like Freddy versus Jason, the giant Ken Kersinger next to Robert Englund. And Robert Englund is not that short for an actor, but I mean, that's one of the reasons why they recast Kane Hodder with Ken Kersinger, was that they wanted that height difference, David and Goliath type of look between them. See what else I can do without screwing around. This is one of those tapes with no cover. Oh, yeah, here it is. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with THX certified sound. This is one I'd be especially like, well, I mean, it looks fine. It looks clean, but there's no box. Or maybe the box is open. It's just somewhere on the bottom. If they
Maybe they just lost the box.
they could have lost the box, or like
They were throwing it out anyways.
like my sister's VHS of Rocky Horror Picture Show was just the tape because she took the box cover and cut out the lips on the cover for a photo collage thing she was doing. Let's see. Okay, we got some. Which one is this? I think we got another raw tape. Oh, it's the Stuart Little movie. There's an exception to the rule about this being Disney stuff in here, besides Titanic. All right, well, actually, no, wait, we're starting the third quarter. We'll get back to that later. Maybe that'll be a thing for channel members. For my channel members out there, you'll get an exclusive little flip through on this box. You want to see the complete flip through of all the tapes in this box? That will be the video today for channel members. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And actually, it's somewhere in here, but they do have a copy of Mary Poppins in this box, and it does come with the clamshell. It actually does have the package. Third quarter finished cooking just in time, says Mark. Well, Mark, what did you cook? It's like when Nick shows up in streams and, what did Nick have for dinner? Last night it was rallies. All right, passing the ball. Michigan got the kickoff there. Mullings didn't get much. It's, of course, no, gotta keep on the computer here to keep my finger on the skip ads switch. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the Jay brings up the idea of Stallone telling Dolph to really, really hit him hard, and then he had to go to the hospital. Basically, it was like the opposite of CPR, where a strong enough punch to the heart stops the heart briefly.
He was open.
Well, Mark, surprisingly, instead of doing a remake, they did like a decades late sequel. Remember that from a few years back? Like pretty like early 60s, so like 50 years something late sequel to Mary Poppins. Where Mark says, same as last time, Foreman salmon with angel hair pasta and tricolor peppers. That sounds like something my father would make. So
Foreman salmon?
Foreman salmon, yeah, like it's spelled like George Foreman, unless he misspelled something. It says Foreman salmon, yeah, that's what it says. Maybe it's a brand name I don't know about. It's one of those like type of brands you only find at like Winn-Dixie or Publix, since he's down in Florida.
Too bad he had to come back with it in the first down. That's the way it goes. Oh, look at them. They sandwiched him. Where's the rubbing the passer on that? Nothing. Don't call shit.
Oh, he means Foreman. He means he cooked it on the George Foreman grill. We actually have a Foreman grill.
4th and 1. We're going to go for it.
All right, 4th and 1. Michigan's going for it.
Stupid risk.
Oh, God. Oh, no, he got it. He was trying to go for it, but, yeah, he wasn't getting through the line, so Mullings flipped and got over.
We're at our 30-yard line, boy.
Yeah, that's yeah, we haven't used it in a while. We have a Foreman grill. Like if we ever, like we don't usually get chicken or, things like that. But I mean, we could use the Foreman grill for cooking the chicken. When I was regularly having like beef, like red meat or whatever, I got myself a Foreman grill from Meijer and would regularly just do it myself on the Foreman grill like that until, the chest pains and the vomiting at 29, I gave up red meat. And now most of the time, the Foreman grill, like if you ever, instead of like in the oven, we could go use the Foreman grill, just have to, clean it off, make sure it's fresh.
They had 3 guys there waiting. How the fuck you got yardage out of it?
Like earlier, my father made scrambled eggs, but he made them in one of the pots instead of using the frying pan, and it wound up ruining the pot and I had to throw it out. Like we have old-fashioned cast iron skillet, just could have just asked for me to bring it out. Just the Foreman grill for salmon, 15 minutes, flipped twice at 5-minute intervals, and then in the first flip, adding peppers. Yeah, that sounds about good. And with salmon, you don't really have the fat, so the little like fat tray that gets burned out, you don't have that. You don't really need it. At least I don't think you need it. Oh yeah, first down. Or like at the height of the whole wrestling boom in the late 90s with the Attitude Era and all that, there was MTV did a special on wrestling where it was like showing Triple H and China on the road. And then we see like a wrestling school. And we also see some like other like past their prime WWF guys, including Tony Atlas. They show him, yeah, he was a bodybuilder, became a wrestler. Now he's like doing the indie scene. And they also show him at home, and he's like out on his front porch. He has a massive old style charcoal briquette kind of grill, and he has like 20 like chicken wings he's cooking on there as like as a lunch for him. Then again, he's guy trying to maintain this big bodybuilder physique when he's like in his 50s. So having an old fashioned like the, I don't even think my uncle had that when he would grill when he would come over, but.
Why did you do that? Just throw the ball around, you get the ball line of scrimmage.
Jill says, try it with teriyaki sauce and ginger. I would say the ginger, yes. Teriyaki, no. Avoid that crap. Unless you want the soy and the migraines, no thanks. Like that was the thing. Weatherman, you want to avoid any migraine-inducing things in your diet, then avoid all teriyaki at all costs.
That's one at 74. My dick gets hard when the wind blows. I don't eat that shit. So make fun of me.
Teriyaki, yeah, then no teriyaki on nothing. So just avoid it. Go for the either what Mark was saying there or Teddy Atlas with all those chicken wings he was making on the charcoal. Tony Atlas. I confuse them. Teddy Atlas is a boxing trainer who worked with Mike Tyson. He's now become a big correspondent in boxing for ESPN for a long time. Tony Atlas was the 80s WWF wrestler who also was a bodybuilder. And I don't know if he's still, maybe now at this age, he's probably just doing the convention scene. I'd like to think he's not still wrestling on the indie scene now that Vince McMahon threw him out.
You can't argue where the spot of the ball is.
Weatherman says, I don't like teriyaki. Good. Because with all the soy in that, like with soy sauce, basically is a fast lane to headaches or vomiting. Like when it comes to Disney movies, I remember I was hyped for the Disney Tarzan. And I remember the whole time I was so horribly ill. And I remember, like, as soon as the movie was done, my father took me to the bathroom afterwards, and I vomited all over the place. And I vomited out the Chinese that my mother had ordered for us that was smothered in all that MSG and the soy sauce. And that's where I agreed, okay, no soy sauce ever again on anything I would ever get.
You're getting the headaches from the MSG, not the soy.
I was vomiting as well. So yeah, when it got me so bad with the headaches, it got me headaches and also needing to vomit. And trust me, there was nothing gross or anything like that about the Disney Tarzan. It was what I was putting in myself. I mean, we stopped that. Either that, or maybe it was the music of Phil Collins in the movie was so bad. It's what I would have just had a simple painful headache. But then the terrible Phil Collins music in Tarzan also is what led to me vomiting after the movie was done. You'll be in my heart. Especially that was their follow-up to Mulan that had Stevie Wonder. Yes, Stevie Wonder, featuring Stevie Wonder with one of those boy bands doing the music, but still, I mean, a bit of us away from Stevie Wonder to Phil Collins. Yes, I probably wasn't the only one to vomit hearing that. I was just the only one that also was sweating and having a headache. Sweating in like a 65-degree movie theater. Well, that Weatherman says, now I want hot wings. Well, it depends on what kind of hot sauce you get on them, but yeah, they can help. Like when Nick was here, one of the places we went to, it was an exception to the rule about trying to go to only places that are just here was we ordered from Buffalo Wild Wings, and the sauces we got on them certainly was incinerating my sinuses in all the best way, because how congested I easily get. Stuff like that, I was like blowing my nose and like teary-eyed in the middle of eating it. With stuff like that, I need 2 sets of napkins. I need the napkins for wiping my hands or the sanitary wipes, and also the other set of napkins for blowing my nose, especially when I've gone this long without using the Navage, because the Navage, the pods you need to put in the Navage machine, I haven't had them since like February. Here's one. Or as Mark says, going back to Phil Collins, yeah, from In the Air Tonight and his work as the frontman for Genesis to sappy crap like the sappy Disney ballads. Not just there, but remember the other one afterwards? They brought him back for another one of those awful early 2000s Disney movies, the one where Joaquin Phoenix is the Eskimo who becomes a bear, that had Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas in it for some reason. Do you remember that? Yeah, Brother Bear. The trailers itself looked awful, and no wonder people ignored that and instead just went and saw Finding Nemo that summer. Yeah, part of the reason of why Disney Studios got so bad with 2D that they shut down their animation studio for a while and didn't do 2D movies for a long time. It wasn't even so much of, Pixar makes 2D obsolete. It's also the movies they were doing from the 2000s were just terrible, or either that or just forgettable. You had Brother Bear, that Home on the Range with Roseanne, or what was the I mean, even ones that were good still weren't as successful as the Pixar stuff, like Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch definitely being the best of those early 2000s ones, but then you also have like big budget ones that tanked, like that Treasure Planet or Atlantis. Atlantis, that's the one with Leonard Nimoy and Michael J. Fox. There's one. Jail says what she's making is chicken chow mein tonight with cellophane noodles. Well, chicken chow mein, okay. Just avoid the teriyaki because that's headache and soy central. All right, up. He's running. Oh, Orgy. All right, he's able to get some. Oh, did he? He might have gotten the first down. Oh, might have been a half yard short. Orgy, he was running, couldn't find anybody open. He went to run and run, Michael Vick style, and probably just maybe shy.
Right there. He just ran through the tackle. Well, the ball's over the line. That's where tackle is.
There's one. And Mark asking Weatherman about his migraines, if he gets an aura with the migraines. And Mark says, I get blurry vision occasionally, but rarely. Treatment that works for me will probably not help your symptoms. Well, yeah, Weatherman, he just got off a recent prescription for his migraines that actually made them worse as opposed to their error. Now he's just back on the old medicine he had been using that just makes him tired. All right, running. Oh, all right.
One commonality of people with suffer migraines?
What?
Highly dehydrated. Highly.
Let's get this in directly to the microphone. We've got a PhD right here.
I don't medicate symptoms. I solve the problem. Most people that suffer migraines are grossly dehydrated. They drink sips of water. They should be drinking an ounce for every pound they weigh, and most people don't. But I don't sell pills. I sell problem solving.
Right there. PhD, worked with actors and athletes all over the place. Got the brief time Luther Vandross didn't look like if Sherman Klump could sing.
No.
Oh, no. The time that Luther Vandross didn't look like a clean-shaven Sherman Klump. Oh, the irony considering if you remember that bit from the Lady Professor, the father complaining, oh, Luther Vandross, he was a black coverati. Now he's all anorexic, his skin be hanging off his face. What about Oprah? Oprah was a fox.
And what was Luther's choice? Non-serpent boys. Given those Kelly Slater types.
Well, he also did get his career started singing backup for David Bowie on the Young Americans album.
He just likes young skinny white dudes.
And if Bowie wanted some, he wouldn't break him off a piece of chocolate.
You don't want that.
Bowie. We know Bowie likes the chocolate. He married Egyptian. His second wife, the first wife, that lady, he had I remember there was a time where they had Bowie's first wife model as a Black Widow for some photo shoot. The late 70s Black Widow, where she had the shorter hair and the gray cat suit instead of the black one.
Don't be predictable. It's 4th and 4. If you run, you're going to get.
Okay, well, Mark says hydration is key in weather. They're going for the field goal, 4th and 4. A 53-yard field goal. And it's raining.
Ball's wet and dead. He missed.
Oh, no.
He made it.
Field goal's up 24-3. Michigan made it. All right, so yeah, Mark says, yes, hydration is key. Weatherman says, I drink over a gallon of water every day and still have these symptoms.
1 ounce for every pound of body you weigh.
Wait, that's all right. Now for the back row.
The minimum is 1 ounce of water for every pound you weigh every day. Not every third day or fourth day. Every day, 7 days a week, 24/7.
Little clarification right there.
And are you having caffeine? Are you having chocolate? Are you having things? You know, Kareem Jabbar had massive migraines. You know they got him off chocolate. The caffeine and the chocolate were giving him headaches.
All right, Jill brings up soy sauce has a ton of salt. Well, yes, besides the soy, also the salt content.
That just jacks up your blood pressure.
That's with especially with my father. When it comes to salt, that's like garlic to a vampire. No, salt-free all things.
You have 3 parts of potassium in your diet for every part of sodium. That's science. That's not paranoia. None of you people, uneducated dumbasses, think it's OCD. But if you're educated, you understand the electrolyte balance is a balance. It's not made up. It's not on the Joe Rogan podcast. It's on science. Yeah, I said it. Deal with it. Kiss my ass.
The show, October 8th to 13th, I mentioned Walmart Plus membership. they're doing their special thing to try and compete with October 8th, I think, is when there's the Amazon Prime Day.
Amazon's 8th and 9th. They're doing it for more days.
And there's a Prime Day in July, and now they're doing Prime Day again in October. So if it's like early Christmas shopping or whatever, there might be something. Maybe it's make it up by maybe like over and double whatever presents my father would be getting for Christmas because I wasn't able to get any birthday things.
Did your mother teach you how to pack up the car?
Maybe. That's less directions and more bad directions and more not bad directions than bad parking.
She can't get the direction of backing up.
Yes. Or here's when a weatherman says, I can't drink caffeine and stay away from sodium. So weatherman, just says can't drink caffeine and stay away from sodium.
You shouldn't have more than 3 or 400 milligrams of sodium in your diet daily if you have that problem. What they consider low sodium is still relatively high for someone with migraine problems. But I work to identify the problem and solve it. People want to make it so it doesn't piss off the patient. No, the idea of what's going to work without taking medication. Instead of medicating the symptoms, solve the problem.
Jill says, guys, it's been a slice, but I've got things to do later. Well, then, everybody wave goodbye to Jill. Nice to see her around. Because of tomorrow being a night game, we probably won't see her. We urge you.
We play Monday.
No, I'm saying next week, Michigan.
Oh.
Next week, Michigan will be a night game. Probably won't see Jill there because we know about her. Her husband doesn't allow her after 3.
I keep saying allow.
That's what she tells me. Her husband
being sarcastic.
that her husband doesn't like her on live streams after 3.
That just sounds wrong. Does she have to wear a full burqa?
I also joked that I don't know if Jill is Muslim or something, but
named Jill. Yeah, that's a real Middle Eastern name.
then again, it's people talk about different charity work or outreach work they do for communities. I do all kinds of outreach work for the Muslim community of helping the Muslim get away from the husbands that will smack them with a rock for wanting to read or showing their ankles. In case you wonder why, if you think Catholic schoolgirls will, so many of them wind up becoming sex drunk when you get away from their strict upbringing, try Muslim women getting them out of those countries and watch them then. They might stay devout to the faith. They might have, the 5 prayers a day that they pray 5 times a day and also take 5 dicks a day because, well, now freedom. Take me, infidel, take me.
Which one of us had the prayer room right next to him?
Well, speaking of that,
oh,
here's another personal account of independent Muslim women and how they may maintain the faith, but also this.
Next to my lecture hall was our Muslim prayer room, and next to that was the secretarial pool for my department. I'd say about 75-80% were Muslim women, and the word was all you have to do is walk in, and they'll just take you in a storage closet. But they kept their outer garb all looking like they're okay, except for they were easy.
Take me, infidel. Walmart, baseball, NFL, Tom Cruise, freedom, yes. Take me.
And then they go 30 minutes later to the prayer room.
But they fatwa on my clit. Yes, I got to keep it.
No, they would praise Allah for them coming.
Praise Allah. Oh, yes. So Allah the greatest, Allah the merciful. Remember the Muslim chanting in the original release of Ocarina of Time, where the Fire Temple had the Muslim chanting in it? And I think the translation was like Allah the most merciful, Allah the most powerful, like that. Remember that? There they were. There'd be one of those women writing you, pull the nipples, spank my ass. Hey, don't touch the hijab.
And then walk around Tyson Mall. They're dressed like that. The kids are dressed in Western clothes.
But then they become John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. You try to play with their hair, reach under. Would you watch the hijab? Would you just watch the hijab? Don't touch it. Don't touch it, okay? I like you, but don't touch it. Yeah, you remember that was a big controversy at the time, and then every print of the game since then is removed. I think that was because Nintendo had a policy that they forgot about, that the game violated, about Nintendo having no references to real world religions in games or something like that. And that's why every print after that first run of Ocarina of Time cut out the Fire Temples chanting. I think that was the one we had because remember with that generation of the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, like my father was the one who bought us the PlayStation and my mother's the one who got us the Nintendo 64, probably because the 64 was cheaper.
Okay. Reality check. I paid for both of them. She handed the money to the people.
No, this is when you had custody, so this had to have been a thing she got separately because she wasn't getting.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. It was the 90s, so she wasn't getting alimony child support. Like later on, when it was alimony child support going to her, that's why you. It still amazes me now looking at it, looking back at that. The Nintendo GameCube being $100 cheaper than the PlayStation 2, she wound up not getting the GameCube.
when we divorced, she still got tons of marital assets that I didn't get. I didn't want. I just said, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Like I remember, yeah, Luigi's Mansion looked great. That was where they originally had Resident Evil 4 on. There was the Star Wars Rogue Leader game looked great, and also Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, the best Cthulhu Mythos game that was not an actual Cthulhu Mythos game. Here's one from Bleacher Report. Our D is absolutely legit. Too bad our offense is a cuckold at the 3 a.m. Diddy party. Actually, reminds me, I should take got to do a photo of this for Bleacher Report later on. Bleacher Report on the forum they have there for Michigan football. And then later on when I do my Instagram post, and well, I can't believe I didn't think of it immediately, but yeah, there will be the big video for channel members to see today will be a flip through of all these little videos I found, because there's all types of people that have moved and then, you know, they put the boxes on the curb of stuff. This is the first time I ever picked up anything. There was that big chest of drawers, but that was a chest of drawers and they weren't moving. Those were my neighbors to my right, your left.
Take all his boxes.
Well, the newer neighbor on my left, your right. Yeah, he always has a bunch of boxes he puts out there, hands them out. We just take them in. But that's the thing where, yeah, he puts them out there on purpose.
No, like expensive, like fancy boxes that he paid for.
And also that, and he asked what kind of leaf bags we have, and well, we completely ran out of those bags. Like I think last year we just used big garbage bags. We wound up using all of them. So when it comes to leaf gathering time, we gotta either go to, like, I think Myers, where we've been getting those leaf bags.
Still foggy.
And there it is again, the Michigan Stormtrooper. He's there at every game. He's been there at every game for, I think, as long as when Harbaugh started coaching. I remember seeing him.
Oh, he was around. He was around. Back at Wake Park. That was a good play. Come on, let's go, Donovan. Flag's out of face mask. We're holding. I'm gonna come back for holding. I'm gonna go holding on 12. Son of a bitch. We can see that. We get a decent pass play and we get a fucking holding bill.
Let's see. Here's when Mark says, get the jack-o'-lantern bags. Well, if they got them, I've tried them out there to make it more seasonal. That's another thing. I'd like some, like they'll either somehow be able to swing a trip up the spirit of Halloween, and maybe either just for channel content or also at least, you know, make it a little more festive. Although the last few years, usually around Halloween, we wind up getting a rain out. So it winds up, the trick-or-treating winds up becoming null and void. So it's kind of sad. And well, this year, this is the first time in a few years where YumaCon begins on Halloween. It's the day before the convention really starts. They have like a big opening party. There's one. All Edwards' hard work after the catch that down the drain for the penalty. Yeah.
Look at the next play. He made a nice pass. Got patient, didn't rush the ball. It slipped. I got the third down. That's Ronnie Bell's younger brother. He plays on the Niners now. All right, come on, boys. Oh, it's 2nd and 3. I thought it was 3rd and 3. All right, come on. We got 70 yards passing today. We only had 32 last week in the whole game.
What's going on here? All right, we got the ball on. Oh, what happened? Delay game or timeout? But Bell got it back, says Mark. Yes, indeed.
Does he know that's Ronnie Bell's brother?
The brother of Ronnie Bell right there. Yes, got it back for Michigan.
No, because a lot of people, Bell's a generic name, but no, his brother was our good receiver from a couple years ago. Ronnie Bell played a TCU game where they called it back because his ball hit the ground in the end zone.
Ah, crap. I remember that now.
Remember that call? Referee called a touchdown. The replay said his ass hit the ground first. Next play, we fumbled. That was a nice 53-yard field goal in a fucking pouring rain.
I know Big Ten. I think this is going to be the Big Ten Saturday night either, or
No, this is Big Ten Network.
Oh.
Big Ten Network was owned by Fox.
it's
Fox
the.
owns it. They bought it.
Here's one. Mark says, sorry, I can't follow the game. We cut the cord in 20. Well, all right. Well, hell, I think we also around here cut the cord and all that, like, I think there 2019 or so. Right. The long, yeah, we had initially here was DirecTV. Then we went and cut the cord around 2019.
Fox. It's on Fox.
And with the whole the city inspection requiring the roof repair, they went and in doing the roof repair, they pulled down the old DirecTV dish we'd had up there on the ceiling for a long time.
He doesn't have Fox TV.
So, but Mark, this game's live right now on Fox. So you're saying whatever you have.
This is over the air. This is
I mean,
not,
whatever streaming service you would have that comes with actual like live TV, which should include
Basic Cable has Fox.
this or this is Depend. Yeah, Emmitt Smith, great big all-time leading rusher in the NFL. Now he's doing a Depend commercial. Ouch.
The man leaks.
You don't see Dan Marino or Michael Irvin doing this. Well, that's because they're men. And also maybe Michael Irvin still is constipated from all the nose candy he had in the 90s.
That's Emmitt Smith, not Michael Irvin.
That's why Michael Irvin doesn't need Depends, because all the nose candy, he's had constipation ever since. Well, Dan Marino never had drug or party problems, but he did play for Miami, so there probably were a lot of people like, try this, Dan, try this.
Why do you think he went from going to be the first pick in the draft to the 25th pick? Because they had the shit that he was doing coke and when he was at Pitt.
Well, then that explains why he, never set foot anywhere else but Miami during his NFL career.
The number one pick.
If that's the case, then yeah, it makes sense he stayed in Miami, cocaine capital of
I
America.
thought he was going to be a number one pick, and all of a sudden, so why did he drop? All the rumors about him doing coke in college. You know?
Ouch, Emmett, says Mark. Yes, indeed.
You think they wouldn't?
Maybe. The man whose record he broke, Walter Payton, died of liver cancer. Well, liver cancer being more dignified than, living on and having Depends.
Tom Harmon's number. Henry Hatch. Where's old John Paul? This boy is very slow with all the stoppages.
Jay brings up they need Depends to hold their pink sock in. Well, with Emmitt Smith, it's more like a big chocolate one. Yeah, they still sell them, the chocolate-covered banana ice cream bars. Some a little more like that with Mr. Smith. There's something with Michael Irvin also, the nose candy, the constipation,
Come on, Donovan.
and also it's like this.
Almost one step.
You know what he's got? You know what Michael Irvin's got to have with all of that, nose candy fun? What he has basically is this. A rubber pencil. Who else here who here does not think that Michael Irvin would have the rubber pencil these days from all that? This one. Well, yeah, that did happen. The word spread about
Intercepted.
interception. Minnesota's got the goddamn ball. That was terrible.
Right at him. I mean, the receiver was behind him.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the big draft that had Marino and Montana and John Elway. And yeah, the word of Marino with the nose candy is led to him dropping so low. And then, joke was on them. He wound up doing so much, well, statistically speaking. But
Maybe he had a team that had defense. That was a bad pass.
that's also the difference between, a sport like that. It's a team sport. You can have all the great records like Dan Marino wound up having, all the big records for touchdowns and yards passed, but he only ever did a Super Bowl versus Joe Montana, whose records are far slower, but he was a leader of men and 1-1-1, which is what really matters.
He actually loved when he had the ball.
That's why when all of that greatest player, NBA player ever, LeBron James talk, I immediately shut it down as pure horseshit because he's only ever out for himself in his career. It's never a team thing for him. That whole play with Minnesota getting the interception. If it were any uglier, it'd be Disparu. And there's a guy.
Oh, Loveland actually had the ball. You see in the replay, at pass speed, it looked like, no, it wasn't that bad of a pass. He just ripped it out of his hands. Because everybody thinks the defense on every single play and every single down can stop everybody.
There's one. Mark says, I took a break from the Lions during the Marino years and became a Dolphins fan. Well, the Dolphins weren't really doing that much great contention in the playoffs either. And also when it came to their team, what was their big strategy? Okay, Marino will pass. It's no different from the Lions where hand the ball to Barry Sanders.
They had two good receivers, and he put pass to him nonstop.
Who else in the 90s does anybody else remember playing for the Lions? I remember the name Charlie Batch because I knew somebody who had a Charlie Batch jersey.
We had Herman Moore. We had some good players.
Weatherman brings up that Fox Online has the game for free. Well, there's a way to watch if you cord cutting like Mark.
Fox Sports app has it on.
Like Mark Nichols is saying, yeah, Fox Sports, the app, they've got it for free, or online, you've got the app, or just go on the internet to see that if you don't want to have so many apps. But Mark says Bradshaw wasn't that great of a quarterback, but look at the Super Bowls. Yes, because he was he had a great team around him. It's a team sport, so that's why. That's why you can be a guy that doesn't have those perfect stats as a quarterback, but you're winning and winning and winning. And, especially the last Super Bowl where he had Big Van Vader staring down the barrel of him in that last Super Bowl with the Rams, and still Bradshaw won. Yeah, Big Van Vader. He was the defensive line for the Rams in that one Super Bowl in the 70s where they lost. Then he went into wrestling and became Big Van Vader. Or the fat bully's dad on Boy Meets World, if that's what you remember him better for.
Right by the fucking play, he was wide open. What were you doing, 20? You ran up to make a tackle, and you left 0 wide open.
But that was a time when QBs called plays, says Mark. Holding on the offense. So that great big pass that was going to mark them down, it got taken away with with holding on the offense.
Made the mistake of not covering the guy. Hey, you think he's ripping his shoulder pad off? It might be holding. Look at him. He's got more heat. He's got him by the shoulder pad. He's not even holding the jersey. It's on the fucking shoulder pad.
Bow down, bow down, down to the bow down, bow down, down. All right, got the ball up. Oh, and they're going. All right, now he's running. Got tripped up. So it's now about 2nd and 5. A Phil Hartman classic. Oh, yes. Speaking of yes, that's actually one of those that's on Saturday Night Live's YouTube channel, the Colon Blow, the parody of Total, I remember. Yeah, that one of those commercials, little a tad gross. I wonder if that one is available on the episode it aired on Peacock, because they censor a lot of the old Saturday Night Live. Like, I remember on Comedy Central, they would re-air Saturday Night Live episodes from the 90s and recall skits watching it there that are deleted from like the broadcast you'll see on Peacock. Like when Macaulay Culkin hosted and there was like a whole Thanksgiving Day skit there, or the whole opening skit, like instead of opening monologue, they do a whole Home Alone parody, and that was cut out. So you just get the cold open.
Come on now, making mistakes. Offsides, fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's that. Most people, or at least for me, that was the first exposure to Saturday Night Live, was early 90s episodes that when they were re-airing on Comedy Central. Like a lot of Comedy Central's programming that wasn't prime time was a lot of filler stuff like that. As soon as they lost Mystery Science Theater 3000 to the Sci-Fi Channel, a lot of the filling of the programming was no longer the MST3K. It was reruns of Kids in the Hall, reruns of Saturday Night Live, and of course a bunch of like random like C-list comedies. All right. And another commercial parody I remember on that Macaulay Culkin episode was His and Her Toilets. It's a pair of toilets for married couples to go and be on the toilet together. Or one I remembered vividly from when I think it was the speaking of football, that big thing that happened when NBC was showing the XFL and there was a game that was going overtime and it was going over the allotted airtime, and NBC was worried that it was going to wind up preempting that night's Jennifer Lopez hosted Saturday Night Live episode that they'd been hyping. But luckily, the game did end just in time for them to get to J-Lo hosting Saturday Night Live as scheduled. Where for Will Ferrell and all his talk these days, the opening segment is Jennifer Lopez. The opening cold open. It's Jennifer Lopez in her room, in her rehearsal room, and there is Will Ferrell talking about how during rehearsals I wanted to squeeze your big juicy behind, and he's like, I can't lie anymore. I'm all about your jungle rump. We'll say that to Will Ferrell, who can't tell apart Puerto Rican from black. But then again, he's a breakout star on Saturday Night Live. Of course, he can't tell them apart. I remember that because it was that episode that was going on. That we watched the XFL religiously for that one big season it had. It was mostly on NBC, and then especially that one where it was going overtime, and then from there, Saturday Night Live with J-Lo. That I remember that episode, one of the skits they had was a commercial parody. I think it was for Oops, I Crapped My Pants. I was reminded of that when Razorfist did his video on the whole jury, the verdict with the Johnny Depp case in Virginia. And it ends with, a joke on Amber Heard where it shows the clip where of that skit, it's thanks, Oops, I Crapped My Pants. I don't know what's in the drinking water with the legal system in Virginia, but Virginia, a state in America where men can actually get their innocence proven and win when it goes up against crazy, lying, conniving women between Johnny Depp and my father. Between the custody case there and Johnny Depp's case there. There was that, and as Mark brings up, well, I actually you bring up in the mid to late 80s when Dennis Miller was on the show. Well, he most of the time, he pretty much was there to just do the Weekend Update anchor. I mean, he was like the breakout star of that first season where they brought back Lorne Michaels to produce, and it was that weird, terrible cast where they had like Randy Quaid and Joan Cusack and Robert Downey Jr. when he was high out of his mind, and Anthony Michael Hall was like boozing his way through the show. And they had like all kinds of weird writers, like the woman. I can't remember her name, but she was like the lady comedian that was the inspiration for Elaine on Seinfeld. He was third place in Playboy. Or shows you with those contests like that. I remember. There was like a joke contest where Dennis Miller was third, and guess what? Long career, comedian acting career. Same thing with that show, Last Comic Standing. They had on NBC where like Gabriel Iglesias finished fifth. And now he's like a multimillionaire comedian who has done movies and things, but doesn't need to go and be like a lead in movies to have a millionaire career where he's touring all over the world and making huge ass bank, just like Jeff Dunham.
The joke man got put on Star Search the first night.
There you go there. Or if you want to go like in the pop world, I remember Britney Spears' little girls on Star Search and like lost to some dude who just became some dude, and she went on to have a big career. So tortoise in the hair with those kind of contests. And most of the time, because there is like an old time of when Dennis Miller appeared on Letterman when Letterman was on NBC, and he used to say like, I don't really interact with much of the cast. I'm there doing the Weekend Update thing. Most of the time, like when they have a big like Weekend Update anchor, they almost usually don't really do like major skits. It's usually they're there on the desk and that's it. Most of the time, like exceptions like with Norm Macdonald, where because like that mid 90s era of all the early 90s actors disappeared to do movies, but before Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan were a thing, you pretty much was kept alive single-handedly by Norm Macdonald. So he was doing the Weekend Update bit, and he was doing his, impressions with Bob Dole or Burt Reynolds, things like that. Or of course, Quentin Tarantino. That's that impression he always would do that people don't remember as much, but they should. It's like when I'm one of those where were you all opening weekend talking about how great Norm Macdonald was, but when he tried to be a lead, nobody went out to the theater except for my father and I between Dirty Work and the other movie he starred in called Screwed, which I also saw in the theater. And even when Macdonald died, that was the one piece of Norm Macdonald media nobody brought up was his second attempt at starring in a movie and that one had not that wasn't just a vehicle for him. There's him with Dave Chappelle and Danny DeVito, and still I'm like waiting for people to reference it. Well, I remember that. I saw Freddie Got Fingered opening night when I was 9, and that was because yes, the Tom Green phenomenon. I was all hyped for him getting his own movie where he's the star and everything. Because his show made a big thing. He started doing like spokesman, remember, for Right Guard and Pepsi One, appearing in the Charlie's Angels movie, and that's what led to him marrying Drew Barrymore. He had his big like John Belushi breakout supporting moment in Road Trip, and from there he got to star in, direct, produce, and write his own film. There's the it says that all her movies for to J-Lo are about her getting married. Well, I remember her better from the 90s when it was stuff like Anaconda and Out of Sight. Then again, if anything Out of Sight, that proves Steven Soderbergh's talent for directing women, because he made her and Julia Roberts look like great actresses, and Sasha Grey too, if you remember The Girlfriend Experience.
Come on up. Wide open.
And overthrew.
4th and 11. You're gonna go for it? They got nothing to lose. Why do you want a field goal? You need points.
What was the one line from opening line from one of Dennis Miller's HBO specials? I was raised Catholic. I went to confession the other day and I said, "You first."
Going for it.
4th and 11, Minnesota's going for it.
What are we doing now? We're trying to catch us off guard. Come up on his ass. Nothing. Flag.
Oh, damn it.
You're going to call roughing the passer, I'm going to fucking kill you.
If this is roughing the passers, fuck these people.
They're pointing at us. The chick's pointing at us.
Yep, it's going to be roughing the passer.